Tonight from PNC Park, it's Game 2 of the 3-game series between the Pittsburgh Pirates and the defending World Series champion San Francisco Giants. What a special night last night as the Pirates opened up their 6-game homestand and defeated the San Francisco Giants thanks to the strong pitching by former #1 pick Gerrit Cole. Steve, we're going to talk a lot tonight about the scouts who really make it all happen in baseball. They go out in the trenches, find these players, and boy, we saw a true find last night in Gerrit Cole, and really some former first-rounders were highlighted last night.
Absolutely. You're talking about the Pirates building a foundation of guys highly selected in the draft. Neil Walker, Andrew McCutchen, Pedro Alvarez, and you've got 4 there. You hope that the supply line, the pipeline is going to continue to produce guys that can perform like this at this level.
Gerrit Cole was drafted first a couple of years ago, and he acted like it last night.
He really did. What a great night for PNC and for Pirate fans. He came out. He's the power guy. You look at him. It looks like he's throwing like Roger Clemens there. He's built like him. He's a power guy, and you love power guys. The subtle guys that can get it done like a Maddox, yeah, they're very good, but these guys are fun to watch. And what a great debut. I love the fact he didn't walk anybody.
And you love the fact you're seeing Pedro Alvarez perform again like a big-time first-round draft pick.
Absolutely. He produces offense. You know, the base hits are fine. Among a lot of players, you need the base hits, but he changes games.
Starling Marte is starting to do that, and of course, we highlight him because he was a big international free agent signing by the Pirates.
And he has come to be a very, very special player. He has got a bigger ceiling as the years will unfold for him.
The Pirates and the San Francisco Giants ready to play ball in Game 2 of the 3-game series. And here, it's Francisco against San Francisco, the team that originally signed Francisco Liriano, the Giants. He goes up against the defending World Series champions in Game 2 of the 3-game series, coming up next. Talking about scouting much of tonight. Ron Wotus, former draft pick of the Pirates back in 1979, a longtime member of the Giants coaching staff. He is the bench coach for Bruce Bochy, who will sit this one out. He has been suspended by Major League Baseball after the incident last night where pitcher George Contos hit Andrew McCutchen after Both benches were warned, so Bochy serves his 1-game suspension. And here comes Pedro Alvarez out onto the field in a fabulous game for him last night, both defensively and offensively. Stevie was 3 for 3, was on base 4 times, drove in 3, had the 2-run homer, and maybe quietly, the last few days, seeing a real consistent player.
Well, if he gets consistent, forget about it. It's lights out. Because when he hits the ball, things happen. I mean, just things happen. And also, don't discount that point you made about his glove work. He made a spectacular play when the ball game was still not out of hand. There was still some anxious moments in the 7th inning.
That's what it feels like to go out on the field there with Pedro Alvarez. He stepped on the bag, customary for him.
He'll make a couple long throws all the way across. And don't forget, every time he throws the ball back to the pitcher, it'll be Francisco Liriano. Pedro throws a knuckleball. Every little toss back to the pitcher. You watch if we can catch it.
Well, did you talk to him about that?
Yeah, I said, how's the knuckleball coming? He said, I'm working on it.
That is something. We will watch that.
Yeah.
See if he throws a knuckleball back to the pitcher throughout the game tonight. Here is Ron Wotus's lineup for Bruce Bochy's, but Bochy won't be on the bench. Andres Torres, Tony Abreu, Buster Posey hits 3rd, and against lefties, he's hitting .321. Hunter Pence bats cleanup. Joaquin Arias is at 3rd base. Pablo Sandoval on the DL. Brandon Belt at 1st base. In center field, Juan Perez. Brandon Crawford, left-hand hitting shortstop, and Barry Zito on the hill for the Giants, who are 3 games over 500. The Giants are 2 games back in 3rd place in the National League West. And here's a former Giant product, Francisco Liriano.
The Chevrolet numbers package for Francisco Liriano. And there's a lot of songs, Don't Change a Thing for Me. Don't change anything for Liriano. He has started 6 games. He's given up a total of 7 runs. 4-2, 175 ERA. Last 2 starts for Francisco Liriano. He's won 1 and lost 1 because he got shut out. He's given up 1 run in his last 2 starts. 13 innings of pitching, 19 strikeouts. So he has been doing a terrific job. He stepped in, and he has not stepped back.
He was originally signed as a non-drafted free agent in September of 2000 out of San Cristobal in the Dominican Republic. Spent a couple of years in the minor leagues with the Giants and then traded to the Minnesota Twins in the A.J. Pierzynski deal. Catcher went from Minnesota to San Francisco. Andres Torres, switch hitter, leads off. Lines the first pitch into left field. And a foul ball on the first break of the game for Liriano and the Pirates.
And a chance for Starling Marte to test out his arm. Stretch it out a little bit down the left field corner. A couple of switch hitters to lead off. Not all bad that you don't have Pablo Sandoval, the Kung Fu Panda, or whatever they call him, in the lineup. He's on the DL. That will not disappoint Pirate pitchers.
Liriano facing the Giants for the first time in his career. Last time out against the Cubs at Wrigley, he went 7 shutout innings, 2 hits, and a 2-0 victory. He's already been involved in 2 of the Pirate shutouts on the winning side.
Yeah, he got shut out 2 starts ago by Cincinnati on the losing side. The last 2 starts, he's given up a run.
He's striking out a lot of batters, Steve, is Liriano, and the Pirates team staff pitching out a lot of opposing hitters. But as we mentioned last night, this is a tough test because the Giants have the fewest strikeouts in the National League among National League hitters. Torres hits this one in the air toward right. And Brandon Inge being tested in right field.
Well, Torres is testing everybody. Marte and now Inge.
Rest of the defense for the Pirates: Inge in right, McCutchen in center, Marte in left. Pedro Alvarez, Gabby Sanchez on the corners, Mercer and Walker up the middle. And another foul ball. Andres Torres, 2 for 4 last night.
Both his hits were balls that he pulled off Garrett Cole. Turned the fastball around.
As a left-hand hitter last night.
And I had an interesting conversation with Dave Righetti, the pitching coach for the Giants, and I mentioned that. He said, you know what? He says, it's not all that common, in his opinion, that guys can pull the major league heat of 93, 94, 95.
Well, he's a lot of pain. This is all the Giants need. This would be something. Marco Scutaro was hit on the pinky last night by Tony Watson. He's out and may have to go on the DL. He certainly won't play tonight or tomorrow in this series. And now you have to wonder about the condition here of Torres. Steve already mentioned that they're missing Sandoval, recently put on the DL, Angel Pagan, and Scutaro, who's one of the top hitters in the league.
Now, there's not a lot of household names in this batting order right now for the world champs.
Looks like Torres is going to try to continue. A 1-ball, 2-strike count. This will be the 7th pitch of the first at bat of the game.
You know, Greg, there's almost, with the weather and the whole thing, is almost like a Garrett Cole hangover at the ballpark tonight after all the energy and all the excitement.
Hard to tell Stan the good kind.
Yeah, yeah.
And with anticipating a major storm coming in here sometime tonight, hoping that get through this game before 10 o'clock, 10:30. But right now, Andres Torres is making us wait. It's 3-2.
Yeah, you better not get too many of these at bats if you want to breeze through this thing. Ominous forecast.
And a great at bat for Torres. Leads off against Liriano with a walk. 15 walks for Liriano in 36 innings. He started the season, of course, on the disabled list after signing as a free agent over the winter. A broken non-throwing arm, a household accident, Christmas Day. Pirates reworked the contract. Ball 1 on Tony Abreu. As Steve said, another switch hitter.
And you talk about the walks from Liriano. He's been quite good until last start when he walked 5 in 7 innings against the Cubs. That was in a 2-0 win.
Abreu just off the disabled list. That's 1 ball and 1 strike on the 28-year-old who was on the 60-day DL. Suffered a left knee sprain. Spent all of last year with the Royals organization. Played only 22 games at the big league level. Playing at second base tonight with Scutaro out. And there goes Torres. And bounce left side. Third baseman Alvarez. Goes a high fastball, but Gabby Sanchez able to bring it down.
Will they avoid the double play opportunity? I don't know if it was ideally hit for a double play probability. Pirates get the ground ball, and Giants stay out of the double play. Marvin Hudson working home plate. The crew chief, Tim McClellan, dig your heels in for him tomorrow evening. It'll take a while to sort everything out. Mike Muchlinski at second, and then Wally Bell at third.
And what do you mean by that? It's going to take a while to sort things out with him behind the plate?
Because you never see what he's calling.
Oh, yeah. From our angle way up here, he usually just kind of puts his right fist up in front of his chest, so you don't see it from behind, whether he's calling a strike or not. Very relaxed approach. Buster Posey takes 2-0.
What we're going to do is attach a motion detector to Tim's right arm,
that's a
so
good idea.
See right away.
Yeah. Clint Hurdle had a good point about the Pirates hitting Scutaro last night in the 7th inning. He said, now, of course, I'm managing one team. I'm not going to worry about what they were thinking on the other side, but I can tell you, I don't think we would intentionally hit Scutaro to load the bases for Buster Posey. It's an excellent point.
Well, you know, there's another factor, and it applies to every major league team, a lot of major league hitters, especially I noticed the right-handers. They're leaning in, their elbows are almost on top of the inside corner. So they're going to get hit, and also it's going to affect an umpire's perception. They're jumping back from a pitch that might miss 2 or 3 inches, and the umpire, you wonder if they're thinking, boy, maybe that inside corner that I call a strike, the guy's jumping back. Maybe I should have called it a ball. So you wonder if that gets into an umpire's head. So the guys that get, a lot of them are simply asking for it. Not all of them, but a lot of them are.
It's fouled away. It was a 5-2 game, 2 outs, and Tony Watson was trying to get Scudero, and he comes inside and he hits him on the left pinky. And that loaded the bases for Buster Posey. That's when Vin Mazzaro came on to get a big out. And then later, they tried to retaliate. Contos misses Starling Marte, and because of that, he goes and hits McCutchen. After being warned, he got tossed, later suspended, and he was optioned to the minor leagues today, was Contos. So he'll have to serve the suspension later when he gets, and if he gets called back up sometime. There's a roller and a check swing to Gabby Sanchez. 2 outs.
There's no doubt in my mind, and again, I will be the first one to say only the pitcher knows, in my mind, whether he's throwing at somebody. But from my angle, he was throwing. He missed twice inside to Andrew, and then got him.
And he threw behind Marte.
Yeah,
and he missed him, so he's going to get.
There's no doubt in my mind.
And whether you agree with that or not, I mean, we've talked about this forever about when a manager decides when it's time to retaliate, if indeed you should.
And some pitchers will take it upon themselves to send a message. Now, I was asked if this is a lingering thing. Anytime your main man is hit, it's a lingering thing in my mind.
By the way, we were wondering last night, Bob and I, what McCutchen was talking to Tim McClellan about after that half inning. He went out to play center field, and looked like McClellan stopped him. They had a little conversation. And asking McCutchen today, he said it was just McClellan saying, you know what? You were real classy. You handled that professionally.
Yep.
And that's a good touch there by McClellan.
Absolutely.
Veteran manager to tell.
Veteran umpire.
Veteran umpire, yeah, to tell McCutchen that he handled it with a lot of class and professionalism.
He did, because it's so obvious. I mean, Andrew could have got all puffed up and posturing and even gone out there. He didn't put the bat down. But if your main man is hit, don't you want to send him a message? I don't care what the circumstances are.
0-2 on Hunter Pence.
And you don't have to throw at somebody's head. You can just send a message. I remember Rick Rusho used to do it so well. He'd spin a curveball up, somebody, and just
slow curveball.
Throw it over their head or something, or just send a message or hit him with a breaking ball somewhere in the body, and that sends a message to Andrew. Okay, if I need to do something more, I will.
Whether you agree with it or not, you certainly have to appreciate the way it was done, hitting him where he hit him. Unlike what the Ian Kennedy did last night to the Dodgers. Check swing, appeal, no.
That was the people that were filming were commenting about. I said that's a fantasy brawl.
Yeah,
I mean that was a brawl.
It was MLB Network. A lot of us were watching the MLB Network last night, and Greg Amsinger was hosting that show, the highlight show, and studio host. And later, you stay tuned, because our studio will show you that as part of a game break. And there is Hunter Pence reaching out and lining that ball into the right center gap. And you know Pence is going to go for 2. And he's there. An RBI double. The Giants have really battled Liriano, fouling off a number of pitches in this first inning. And Pence picking up his 32nd RBI.
And picking that ball up out of the bottom of the strike zone, going downstairs. That's a really nice piece of hitting by Pence, and sending it to right center field. So the walk hurts.
Hunter Pence has had wild swings, wild hits over the years. And this ball gets past Russell Martin. Not sure whether that was a cross-up, probably.
It's not the first man that's been on second base.
No, really not.
That's a pass ball.
Yeah, just botched it. Joaquin Arias at the plate, the Giants' third baseman.
Well, the Giants still hanging around the 3rd spot in the National League for team batting average. They came into the series in 3rd place, team batting average.
And Pablo Sandoval, one of the big injuries we talked about. Third baseman is out, and so Joaquin Arias is in. This ball hit toward the right center gap, and Inge makes the catch. For a long top half of the 1st inning, 25 pitches for Liriano. And now the Pirates go to work against a veteran lefty. Barry Zito will take them out for the Giants. The bottom of the 1st inning. Hunter Pence, the RBI, gives the Giants the early lead. The lineup for the Pirates is brought to you by Toyota. Starling Marte, Jordy Mercer, Andrew McCutcheon, 1-2-3. Gabby Sanchez, the cleanup man. Russell Martin will follow. Then it's Pedro Alvarez, 300 hitter this month of June. Neil Walker, Brandon Inge, Francisco Liriano. Interesting to see, against a left-handed pitcher, that essentially you have all but Alvarez batting from the right side against Barry Zito, which normally would make some sense, but lefties are hitting .381 against him.
That's crazy.
This season. Righties .275.
Totally backwards. His record for the season, 4-4. This guy has won 164 major league games, like Liriano, 1-1 in his last 2 starts. 2 starts ago, it was a win. 6 innings, just 3 hits, 1 run, but 6 free passes for Barry Zito. He's not a flamethrower. He has to make his pitches, hit his spots.
Ball one. So you figure that, Steve, the Pirates have to be patient.
Be patient,
obviously, with those numbers.
And you're going to get your opportunities, because he's going to put the ball in play. A little cut pitch there, a little slider.
It is Scouts Night tonight. We're going to be highlighting scouting in Major League Baseball, and Rene Gallo, the scout, the international scout that signed Starling Marte out of the Dominican Republic. Gallo and Chino Valdez signing Starling Marte.
And you're going to have to lay off change-ups like that. He went with a 78-mile-an-hour curveball, followed it up with a 74-mile-an-hour changeup.
Bounce toward 3rd. Arias on to 1st, but a wide throw and into the seats. The Pirates get the break there, as Arias did not do a real good job. See if they rule it a hit and an error. I guess graciously you could give Marte a hit, but an accurate throw gets him.
Oh yeah, I don't think you can get a base hit out of this. Although it's going to be close at first base, closer than I thought. 1-1.
Hit and an error.
Okay, take it.
Arias charged with the miscue after the infield single. It would have been actually maybe not as close as I thought. Maybe it would have been safe easily. Maybe he should have just eaten it and not thrown it. And now Zito will talk to the shortstop Crawford. Marte loves to run. And let's take a look and see how close, and really wouldn't have been close.
Yeah. Thanks to the AGH cam, we find out the truth. We find
always
the
tells
truth.
you the truth. See how they try and dog Marte, or they even try a pickoff. Jordy Mercer at the plate.
Zito's been around a long time, 35 years old in Las Vegas, so he has seen a lot of speed. He has spent a lifetime trying to contain base stealers.
In his 7th year with the Giants, signing that Mega Millions contract. He'll make $20 million this year. And it would be interesting to talk to Giants people down the road and find out honestly whether they think that deal was worth it. He really struggled through most of it. Had a fine 2012 season, certainly better than he had previously. And here's Crawford bouncing in there behind Marte. It's 1-1.
Remember, he used to be the three-headed monster with the Oakland A's: Mulder, Hudson, and Zito.
Yep.
2002 Cy Young Award winner. Rigetti looks. Is that Wotus or Rigetti? Wotus is running the book.
Rigetti there.
Rags, the pitching coach for the Giants.
Giants sign Zito to the largest contract ever for a pitcher, and there's a fly ball to right. Pence is over it, drops in front of him, and Marte wanted to be certain. So it's first and third as Jordy Mercer follows the infield single with a little pop up to shallow right. It's first and third with no one out. And now Zito faces McCutchen, who's a .438 career hitter against Zito.
Little cutter, you can see the spin on the ball coming, and then just a little slice and dice down, hitting the inside of the ball. Little flare to right field. Pirates are in business. Nowhere for Starling to go until he's sure. No need to take a chance. No need to make a mistake like he did last night.
That's for sure.
And the thing about Zito, now he's a great pitcher, but he doesn't have that blazing fastball for these strikeout situations where, as a pitcher, you like to have that that possibility to maybe get a strikeout and then a double play and escape unscathed. 2002 Cy Young Award winner, and emphatically so. 23-5.
A first-round pick in 1999, facing a first-round pick in 2005. Andrew McCutchen, 2 for 3 and on base 4 times last night. And again, lifetime .438 against Zito. McCutchen, 26 years old, out of Fort Meade, Florida. Rob Sidwell was the scout that signed Andrew McCutchen. First-round pick, the 11th choice overall in 2005.
And just in case you're wondering, Barry Zito has given up 4 home runs in his 12 starts prior to tonight.
Concerned that they may try something, so trying to keep Mercer close.
14th major league season for Barry Zito.
$126 million contract signed by the Giants to bring Zito across the bay.
And his first year across the bay, 11 wins, and has never had an ERA with the Giants under 4. Cy Young year for him was .275.
And swinging on the 3-0 and lashing it to left and tying the game. Andrew McCutchen's 31st RBI brings home Marte.
So the Pirates at least answer the Giants run in the top of the first. You see the spin on that. It's not a fastball. And why do you turn a guy loose when you've got everything going for you? Well, it's not again, I'll bring up that subject. It's not a flamethrower, so you have a little bit extra time to make up your mind whether you want to take a shot or just take a borderline pitch in a 3-0 count. when you got a little more time, maybe you can take that chance. You get a chance to look at the pitch a little longer.
1 ball, no strikes on Gabby Sanchez. Came in defensively toward the later innings last night, and his one at bat hit into a double play. A 4th round pick of the then Florida Marlins in 2005 was Gabby Sanchez out of the University of Miami.
Yeah, and the Giants kind of bunching him in the outfield. They give him both corners with Torres over toward left center a little bit. Just bring that up because with Zito not throwing hard, you have that possibility of pulling the ball, getting out in front, getting the bat out in front, and then maybe get some action down that left field corner.
One ball, one strike on Gabby Sanchez. He takes 2-1. 7 career starts against the Pirates, 3.73 ERA. This is his 4th career start at PNC Park. He beat the Pirates here last year, throwing 5 innings, gave up 4 runs on 7 hits, and got the W.
That's when you're pitching on the correct night.
Yeah.
The team's going to score a bunch of runs. And the Pirates are going to have to start doing some of that. Their pitching has been so fabulous that at some point you're going to have to win some 7-4, 9-5 games where it doesn't look particularly pretty, but the next day you pick up the paper and it's a W for you.
Yep. Felt a little more comfortable last night, didn't it?
Yeah. I was asking, when's the last time we scored 8 runs?
Oh, man.
It's been a while.
Way back. And a strike. Wow, Gabby Sanchez actually drops the bat.
And Marvin Hudson says, not so fast. And let's take a look at the grid. Range Resources grid.
There was a strike.
Yep.
Good call from Marvin Hudson.
Yep, it's a man back. Come on back, get the bat.
May 11th, Steve. Pirates won in New York 11-2. May 11th.
Exactly 1 month.
Yep. Full count on Sanchez with Russell Martin on deck. And a pop-up behind home plate. Going to be out of play. We talk about Liriano throwing a lot of pitches in the top of the inning. So too now is Zito.
Put a roadblock up for any weather that's moving this way. Well, the thing is, score a bunch of runs and see what happens. Get a bunch of runs and get to the 5th inning.
Still 3-2. Another pop-up. And again out of play. Well, Zito is just missing getting Sanchez out, and Sanchez is just missing reaching base.
Yeah, and Barry Zito not afraid to come with an off-speed pitch, a 3-2 count, which he did right there. Most of these major league hitters are looking fastball. And, Gabby did a good job of staying alive. There have been control issues, as we mentioned, for Barry Zito, especially 2 starts ago when he walked 6.
Now a turn. No throw. Zito on the road this season is 0-3 with a 10.19 ERA.
And how much is he making?
I know.
Well, how about Tim Lincecum? Nobody struggled more than him the last 2 years.
A fly ball to center. Mercer will tag. He will go to third. McCutchen will put on the brakes and out at third. Not good.
Well, it's a tremendous throw by Perez, but the old axiom, you got to be sure. Just throw right on the money. a high tag up on the body, but no argument from Nick Leyva or Mercer. Yep, tag applied. Show the umpire that you still have the baseball and you get the call. And you deserve the call. Wally Bell is right on top of it. So 2 borderline decisions coming into third base. Last night by Marte, tonight by Mercer. Need to be sure.
Base hit to left. I think that is a borderline one, except that you certainly would love to see Mercer. He's trying to get to third base with less than 2 outs. And it was, as you say, Steve, a great throw from Perez.
Boy, it knocks you back.
Yeah. First and second for Alvarez. And here, we talked about at the outset that the lefties are hitting Zito at a .381 clip, 16 out of 42. Trevor Haley signed Pedro Alvarez, first round pick, 2008 out of Vanderbilt. Kind of saluting the scouts tonight. And in the bottom of the third inning, we'll talk to the Pirates general manager, Neil Huntington. Later on, we'll bring Kent Colby in, who for a time was an advanced scout.
Old Ken Cole there watching.
What a performance. Last night, Tim Lincecum, well, he was very professional in his comments, talking about Garrett Cole, and tipping the cap to him. And bringing the lumber is brought to you by Yellowwood. And once again, Alvarez brought the lumber last night.
The big bounce from the big man.
7th inning, his 14th. And that has him in the top 10 at 14 home runs in the National League. 5 behind Dominic Brown on the Phillies, National League leader. And Alvarez is hitting a home run now in about 13.5 at bats, every 13.5 ABs. That's the 3rd best ratio in the National League for home runs. Full count.
And it's hard for Pedro to be patient and stay back, because you have to do that with Barry Zito. Every once in a while he'll sneak a fastball by you, but the percentage of the time you're going to have to be patient and let the ball get to you.
Zito had such a big win in Game 5 of the National League Championship Series against the Cardinals last year. This has popped up on the infield, way up there. Still up there. Finally comes down. Gunner called that a home run up an elevator shaft. Pirates tie it 1-1.
Liriano and Zito. I'm Robbie Smikowski. Well, the Pirates back on Monday had an off day, and they had a unique way of spending it at the Sporting Plays Invitational, the 5th annual at Seven Springs, just about an hour or so away from here in downtown Pittsburgh. Gabby Sanchez, Clint Hurdle, Russell Martin was a part of it. So was Travis Snyder. That's Mark Melanson shooting right there. Justin Wilson and Ryan Reed. A lot of guys did. Pirates owner Bob Nutting, who you may not know is a spectacular clay shooter himself. He actually won. He had a score, I believe, of 116, and that was out of 100. A couple of the targets there were worth 2, and Bob has a very good shot. So a lot of fun was had by everyone. And Bob Nutting, one thing I didn't learn being my first year covering the Pirates, so he is one heck of a clay shooter, Greg.
Well, let me tell you, Robbie, about a story my partner was involved in last year, Steve Blass. He was in a group at the next station from Bob Nutting last year, and Steve, take it from there.
Well, you know, they set the bird loose. I know all the language.
You sure
I said,
do.
Pull. They set the bird loose, and Bob Nutting was 50 yards down the other way, and he killed my bird, and I took the point.
But you didn't realize it. You see the bird, you're ready to. You said,
yeah, I thought I got it.
Sudden,
and then I look over, and Mr. Nutting is over there. He's got that grin on his face. He said, I got it for you. I got it for you. And what was I going to say?
So he's the next station over, and he shoots your clay.
Yeah.
So that's how good a shot he is.
And that's, I said, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. May I have another?
And Brandon Belt says, thank you very much. A 4-pitch walk.
As we said, Francisco Liriano walked 5 last time out, but it was a 2-0 win over the Cubs. Nice to know that the owner has got your back, isn't it?
Yeah, isn't it nice?
At the competition.
So the scouting report on Blass is he's a little slow on the trigger, right? But he gets an assist from the owner.
Slow is all right.
Now that's the scouting report for Blass as a clay shooter.
Well, the thing is, you know, I've been referred to as somebody who looks like Dick Cheney, and you put a gun in somebody's hand that looks like Mr. Cheney, and
look out.
There's all kind of possibilities.
0-2 the count on Perez.
Speaking of lookalikes, how about Mr. Garrett Cole and Colin Firth from the King's Speech?
I like it. I think you got one there. You're good on those lookalikes, and I think you pulled one off there. I think maybe on Sunday when he starts, maybe Bob and Tim can put up a split screen. 1-2 on Juan Perez. Two the count.
It's a laboring start. Well, it was a laboring start for Garrett Cole last night, and then he all of a sudden got his feet on the ground, like he got a little relaxed, and then retired 13 in a row. See if Francisco can get it figured out.
Shallow center field, and that's going to drop in. 2 on, nobody out here in the second. Steve, back in 1966, Ray Scarborough sent a scouting report to the then general manager Joe L. Brown about a young right-hander out of Connecticut, Steve Blass. And this is what it said. Good fastball, good slider, fair curve, fair change, good competitor. He comes to pitch, doesn't know how to pitch yet, but has a hard sinking fastball once in a while and keeps the ball low. Has a good slider, uses it, and his fastball for his out pitches. Ends his delivery like bunting, and is a bad fielder on anything on the third base side or back through the middle. Is quick and recovers rapidly on balls in front of him. And of course, Steve would turn out to be way better than that scouting report from Ray Scarborough. Came out to be a very good fielder.
Yeah, it was a Scarborough Fair report.
But you know, we're talking
doesn't
about
know how to pitch yet, huh?
Not yet. That was when you were 16.
1966.
How old were you?
No,
this
24.
Was no, this was that was, I think this was a 56 scouting report. You were just 14.
Yeah. I didn't know how to pitch yet.
0-2 the count on Brandon Crawford.
I really didn't know how to pitch yet. I was doing a lot of throwing.
Well, he obviously became one of the best pitchers in baseball, Steve Blass. And part of the maybe the biggest challenge for these scouts is to look at a young amateur player and think down the road what he will become.
That is a very inexact science. I have the ultimate respect for scouts. I really do. It is tough. You see an 18 or 20-year-old young man. How's he going to evolve? Is he going to mature? Is he going to stay healthy? Is he going to learn his craft? Net report was 66. I learned how to really pitch in 68.
What was the difference? How did you? Just over time, you mean? Nothing in particular.
Just got it. All of a sudden, you figure it out somehow.
Comebacker had a chance at third, but Stead will go for the double play, and they got it.
Good decision by Francisco.
Looked at third and then realized he still had a shot at getting a double play, and he did. A good quick throw over there from Mercer.
Well, and look at the delivery from Liriano, chest high to his shortstop. What a perfect lead. Man. Perfect lead. And if Jordy has to work around and find the ball and get it away from a different part of his body or angle, they're not going to get the out at first base.
Well, that was a perfect feed.
Now a chance to slip away with a 0.
Zito has 4 hits and 18 at bats this season.
Tim Lincecum thought he was going to get away with having the opportunity to pitch against his mound opponent last night. Garrett Cole had the 2-run single. Huge.
A comebacker, Liriano. A walk and a single, double play, bouncer. 2 comebackers ending the threat. Oh, the Pirate Parrot loves Steve Blass.
Uncle.
I think, especially as a young player, as a guy in high school, but whether you're playing a high school game or whether you're at an event or a tryout or something, it's a pretty impressive sight to either be hitting or be fielding and look back in the stands or in the grass or wherever and see a whole horde of people kind of watching every single move that you make. So to that degree, it's pretty impressive.
Neil Walker talking about his high school days at Pine Richland. He would be drafted by the Pirates in the first round in 2004, 11th pick overall. John Mercurio signed Neil Walker.
Our former boss.
Yeah, Merck now
back
scouting with the Phillies. Steve, you talk about scouting being such an inexact science, and I think that Neil Huntington will be able to quote us the numbers. But if you can get a guy or two to the major leagues, you're doing pretty well.
You made a name for yourself. How about Elmer Gray?
Oh man,
scout emeritus. Did a lot of scouting for Cincinnati with the Pirates. Just a wonderful man.
And the right, and Pence coming on. Of course, so Howie Hake was one of the top scouts of all time.
He opened up the Caribbean for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Tremendous. And we call him Howie the Hatchet because he would come around to the minor league teams, and when he came to town, people got released.
Howie would come around. He'd have that big chaw of tobacco. And
take a look.
Areas with Chuck Tanner. Howie Hake, longtime Pirate scout. Of course, Roberto Clemente was his big find.
Howie was a character. He was known all around Major League Baseball circles. Quick story. Howie chewed tobacco. I mean, all day, every day. And he would go to the movies, Greg. He'd buy a box of popcorn. He would dump the popcorn out and spit in the box.
That's Howie.
That's Howie. He had a big coffee can on the floor beside him in his big Cadillac.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. He was a character. We were scared to death with him. Howie the Hatchet.
It was fun to talk to Howie about players. Man alive. Howie Hake. Of course, Clemente was the Rule 5 pick from the Dodgers.
And you can't discount the fact there was a gentleman named Clyde Sukeforth who was assigned to go up to Montreal and watch Clemente. And I was on a team with Larry Shepard as a manager at AAA Columbus. Clyde Sukeforth from the state of Maine was just a wonderful man, one of the best guys in baseball I ever met, Clyde Sukeforth. And if you look up Pirate history about Clyde Sukeforth, he was very much involved with that whole Clemente program. But Howie Hake was known all around, and he opened up the Caribbean.
Yep.
I was very blessed, as you see the strikeout there of Neil Walker. A guy by the name of Bob Whalen signed me and Richie Hebner and Dave Cash. And he followed me all around our high school because we had two guys out of our little high school in Connecticut that had gotten signed to pro contracts with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Karen's brother, my brother-in-law, Art Land, and Karen's cousin, Tom Parsons. All three of us made it to the big leagues out of that little high school. Bob Whalen later became the scouting director for the Pirates. I thought he was a wonderful man. He really helped me a great deal.
Well, that's for sure. And what a scouting eye. Take those players out of that one small high school in Connecticut.
And to look inside a young man and see, is the fire there? Is the obsession?
Maybe they want to become great.
Yeah, at the cost many times of personal issues in your life growing up. It has to be that way to make it to the big leagues. The Pirates, I believe, the year I signed in 1960, signed about 40 boys, and 2 years later, there were, I think, 6 or 7 of us left. In the stories, when you go away from school and home for the first time, there's a lot of them in the book I wrote, but it's wild because you're on your own for the first time. And back then, you weren't. The organization cared about, they did, but you were pretty much on your own as an 18-year-old back in 1960, in the 60s.
Zito has a 1-2-3 second. Walker lines out to right, then he strikes out Inge and Liriano through 2 innings, tied at 1. Yeah, Rob, we were talking about that. It surprises me that Ian Kennedy would do that. Up around the head twice.
Yeah,
he hits Puig.
Yeah, you can send a message without throwing at somebody's head. How about Mark McGwire and Matt Williams? That's two heavyweights. Now McGwire isn't as big and bulky as he was. Matt Williams, maybe not as much, but I don't know. I think you'd have to finish Matt Williams off.
I think both of them be quite a battle. Tapper, here's Alvarez. Guns on to Sanchez. Goes 5-3, easy play. And now Abreu. Abreu grounded out in the first.
They're talking about the scouts again. It's so much more sophisticated now, but back in the day, these scouts would put unbelievable numbers of miles on their cars, and they got a lawn chair and a yellow legal tablet, and they watched these guys, and they got that gut feel, and the stories about the loneliness of a professional scout.
And it's still there. Those stories are still there. It's still, modern times, and travel is a little bit easier, but Steve, there's still many lonely hours of putting the time into these reports. I mean, now you have to everything's computerized, and you have to report on every player you see. Scouting legend Bob Zuck, scout for 10 clubs over his 46-year career. Barrel Automotive League leaders, man who signed more Hall of Famers than any scout in history, including Willie Stargell. Also scouted and signed Reggie Jackson, Gary Carter. Barrel Automotive, we're driven to be better. They're dedicating tonight's game to the scouts who find these players, and that's the kind of the scouting area.
You see the tags on. You see Bruce Tanner.
There's a guy there, Steve. I wish we had. Do you have a telestrator?
Yeah.
Can you circle the? Sorry. Yep. Ground ball to second, and on to first. I think we're going to have Neil Huntington coming up bottom half of this third inning. 1, 2, 3. It is tied at 1. And this game kind of dedicated to the scouts, and who better to bring in than the Pirates general manager who has a scouting background himself, Neil Huntington. Steve and I have been talking the first couple innings about the importance of it. I know you've got this incredible passion for these scouts, Neil.
No, they are the unsung heroes. They're the ones that drive thousands, 30,000, 50,000, 70,000 miles a year and see a lot of bad players to find the good one, to find the one that that they're going to put their name on, that they're going to recommend to turnover or development system to get them to the big leagues. And I can't say enough great things about the leadership of Joe Delacorte and Greg Smith in our organization, and then our regional supervisors, whether it's the Southeast or the Midwest, and then our area guys, each of our individual area guys, and the job they do, the work they put in, the time and energy. And sometimes they feel like they're out there on an island. And a lot of the work the area guys do is just getting to know the young man, getting to know the family, getting to know the coaches, getting to know what makes this young man tick. Does he love the game of baseball? It's not just sitting and watching a game and going, he can play. There's so much more to it, coordinating schedules and getting the supervisors to come from somewhere in Florida today to Tennessee tomorrow to watch this young man pitch. And then you worry about rainouts and rotations and coaches changing lineups and things like that. But our guys do a great job. They're passionate about it. They're hungry. They love players, and they want to find out what these guys can do and how can they help the Pittsburgh Pirates win a ball game.
Well, here's Starling Marte right on cue. Rene Gallo led the way in signing Starling Marte, and it's not just, of course, in this country, but internationally.
No, Rene does a wonderful job for us internationally, and you talk about a man with passion and a man that's seen a lot, that's done a lot. Actually, his foundation is in America. He was a Texas scout for the Cleveland Indians, and he's from Cuba. He's bilingual and bicultural, and has done a wonderful job for the Indians, and then now for the Pirates. And you look at Starling Marte as an 18-year-old, which in there he is right there.
How about that?
But as an 18-year-old, he was a has-been in the Dominican Republic, and Rene saw the tools, the run, the throw, the energy, the love of the game, and signed him. And our development system has taken it to another level, and obviously Starling has all the ability in the world, and he's put together a nice first full season.
Here's a nice beginning. You've got the international signing out of Santo Domingo with a base hit, and now out of Oklahoma State, a third-round pick in 2008, Jordy Mercer, and of course Rene Gallo, just a handful of the players that he has signed, and these are some of the prospects below Marte.
Absolutely, and there's a whole bunch of names that aren't on that list that we're excited about coming through our system, and you see Jordy Mercer, a 2008 draft, and Andrew McCutcheon, a high school draft by Ed Creech and his staff, and a great job of scouting there, and these guys, they help us either directly by coming up and getting base hits and winning ball games for us, or they help us indirectly, and we've had a handful of guys that we've drafted, that we've traded to acquire a major league piece. Derek Lee, Wandy Rodriguez, some other guys that have played smaller roles over the time, but the amateur scouts, the international, the domestic, a long time they had to do both the amateur and the professional, and what's happened is over time they've become more specialized, and now, and again, with the resources Bob's allowed us to do, we've caught up, if not passed, many in the industry, and we've allowed our amateur guys to work deeper into the summers, to stay with them instead of having to get out and now do pro coverage. And we've got a pro department that has grown substantially since we've been here to allow us to cover every professional team in baseball, in affiliated baseball, whether it's the Rookie League in Arizona, the Rookie League in Gulf Coast League, all the way up to the big leagues. We've got one and in most cases two looks on just about every player that we're talking about acquiring, whether it's a waiver claim, a minor trade, a major trade, or free agency. And it's going to help us be more efficient in our decision-making process.
Neil, what about the factor, there's so much information, so much technology now. What about the gut factor for these guys, the feel?
It's still huge, Steve, and we preach to our guys, tell us who you want. We want the players that they want, and that's that gut feel, that's that intuition. We've got all the databases in the world with Dan Fox and Mike Fitzgerald and the great job that they do, but our scouts have incredible databases as well. The player that they saw 25 years ago that reminds them of this player, good or bad. And I saw this player with the same skill set, he had the same flaw, and this guy never overcame it. But they've also got the skill set of watching a Starling Marte at 18 and knowing what he can become, or watching an Andrew McCutcheon at 18 or Jordy Mercer at 21. So their database, which is a list of players that have made it, that haven't made it, and then their love of the player, that there's a reason why that scout falls in love with that player and is going to pound the table for him. And those are the guys that we work hard to acquire, again, whether it's via trade or via an amateur signing, because those are the ones that make it. The ones that they're lukewarm on, those are the ones that probably are going to fade by the wayside.
How about the passion of the sale of the scout to the organization? That has to be a factor too. How they present their case.
Line drive to left center field.
Get in the gap.
Headed toward the gap. Knocked down, but not cleanly, so this will allow Mercer to try to score. He will, as he gets past the cutoff man. And Andrew McCutcheon gives the Pirates a 3-1 lead in the third.
Yeah, we'll pause with the scouts and enjoy that. Don't go anywhere, Neil.
You guys, if we keep hitting like this, you guys aren't going to be able to get rid of me all night. So, but no, Steve, to go back, to your question on the scouts and our guys, we want them to bring players forward. We want them to tell us who they like and again, to pound the table for them.
Jordy Mercer sees Leyva waving as the ball got past the first cutoff man. So goes as a 2-run double for McCutchen, who has 3 more RBIs tonight, 33 ribbies on the year, nobody out, 3-1 Pittsburgh, and Gabby Sanchez comes to the plate. We're talking to Neil Huntington, we're talking scouting and how to find these players in all ways. Neil, not just, as you say, the amateur scouting, the advanced scouts, pro scouts, and of course, we're coming on the heels of the big draft over the weekend. So this is where you see all your folks who are all over the country all year long come into this big war room down in Bradenton, Florida. You must have been awfully proud to watch them all work together, and I'm sure you get very much involved in it, but at the same time, we've talked about this, you have really been happy with how they've handled things.
Absolutely. Again, the growth of that department, in particular the amateur department, since we've gotten here, is great, and it started with the leadership of Greg Smith and continues with the leadership because as he oversees all of our scouts, our pro, our amateur, and our international. And Joe Delicari oversees our amateur group, and the ability for them to share their differing opinions. They both see 3 or 4 guys see a player, they see him on 3 or 4 different days, and they've got some variance in the opinions because the players, they show a little bit more here, they show a little bit more there, a little bit less, and the ability for them to interact and to exchange ideas and what they liked and what they didn't like and what was their concern and why is this guy over that guy and how does he project down the road as a major league player. I've said it before, and semi-jokingly but very serious, the scouts have the most difficult jobs in our organization. They look at an 18-year-old or 21-year-old, and they've got to project, borderline predict, what they think he's going to be in 3, 5, 7, even 9 years. Then the farm director has the most demanding job because he's essentially the GM for 6 minor league clubs, and the fires that are created with staff and players and needs and wants. And what we do at the major league level is we continue to run players from AAA to the big leagues, and this is the most stressful but also probably the most rewarding.
That was hit awfully hard, so even McCutchen can't score on that line drive by Gabby Sanchez, and the Pirates are getting to Zito here, their second time around, as Russell Martin comes to the plate. Still nobody out. 3-1 ball game. Gabby Sanchez just rips this one into center field and hits so hard that McCutchen not going to score with nobody out.
Now, a question, Neil. Say in a given scenario, you sign 40 boys, young men. Is there any percentage that you feel in 2 years will still be in the organization? Can you project? Is there any kind of scenario, or is it all individual cases?
It's really individual cases, Steve, and that's a great question. And the new system has altered it some. In the old system, which we drafted under until the 2012 draft, we took a ton of high school players.
Throw them against the wall.
Exactly. We took a ton of high school pitching, a ton of projectable high school pitching. They did things the way we liked it. We saw stuff. We saw the makeup. We saw the frame. We saw the athleticism. Under the new system, there's a limit to what you can do, and it costs more money to get high school players to come into your program for the most part. And now those players have to be taken in the top rounds. We were able to get high school players in the 6th and 7th and 8th and 9th and 10th and 15th rounds and pay them the equivalent of 4th round money because we thought that's what their value was, or 2nd round money, or even 1st round money in some cases. Now it's a little bit more college-oriented once you get outside the top 10 rounds, so our numbers are going to be similar probably in terms of our signings. We've been very patient with some of the high school players that we've signed, and we believe in some cases our patience is being and will be rewarded. Now the new system, it's going to be a little bit more college-heavy once you get out of that first 5 rounds because the dollar signs are a lot fewer.
Neil, 2 outs now, the double play, so no RBI for Martin. 4-1 Pirates. Here is Pedro Alvarez. We asked this earlier, Steve and I. We're talking about scouts. What's a solid number or percentage for a scout over maybe a career or a couple years in terms of the guys he signs and gets to the big leagues? It's not a lot, is it?
No, it's going to be an incredibly small number. In fact, I saw a graphic earlier where somebody had 10 big leaguers and 10 really good ones, and that was back when you could show up, you liked the player, you signed him. Now that scout can turn in that player, but he's got to be drafted by the club and he's got to be developed. And if you look at a minor league system of this class that we've drafted, you typically look at any draft class. You draft 40 to 50 players, you sign 25 to 35 of them, and you've had a good draft if you get 1 regular borderline all-star, 3 or 4 more players that maybe have some good seasons, maybe are on the verge of regular type production but don't get there, and you get 1 or 2 that get a cup of coffee. So of that 35 that you sign, if you get 5 to the big leagues out of a typical draft class, it's remarkable. I saw a couple publications talked about the greatest draft class ever, and I think it was Bench, Dan Dreesen, Raleigh Eastwick, and some other, not Raleigh Eastwick, but Don Gullett. And it wasn't like 4 names where you go, wow. Or it wasn't the Steelers draft where they had, 4 Hall of Famers in one draft. It's very challenging. And our hit rate in Major League Baseball isn't anywhere near what it needs to be. And that's why we work so hard to educate our scouts on what we do, why we do it, who we like, why we like them, so that we can enhance our probability for success.
So you think that hit rate will get better?
Well, that's the goal.
Hoping to,
that's the goal. I mean, you look at arguably the best player of our decade. Albert Pujols is the 400th player taken in his draft, and the NHL equivalent is Mark Messier, the second highest scorer of all time, is a 3rd-round pick. They just seem to do a better job in other sports. Well, most of it is because you go right from college to the highest level, whereas in baseball you've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years of minor league baseball.
Really interesting stuff. Neil, thanks so much.
Thanks, Brownie.
Neil Huntington,
Thanks, Steve.
Talking about scouts, and a great time to have Neil in. 4-1 Pirates lead as Francisco Liriano goes back to the mound. Yeah, stick around.
By Toyota. Now's the time to go places with Toyota. Visit buyatoyota.com for special offers. And by PNC for the achiever in you. Let's go Bucks.
So the Bucks lead 4-1. And our thanks to Neil Huntington for joining us as we salute the scouts. Boy, you sure can tell the passion he has. He knows the hard work they put in.
Yep.
They really are the unsung heroes. They don't get any of the attention.
And they have to appreciate his involvement, just not lip service for what they do. So it's a lonely life. It is.
So the Pirates pick up 3 and lead 4-1. See what Liriano does now. He retired the side in order in the 3rd. He set down the last 5 straight. Pence doubled into the right center field area for the first run, and now he's in the hole 1 and 2. Pence, Arias, and Belt. That's line to left. Marte back. That has really hit hard over his head. Pence, his 2nd double.
You know, Greg, before we leave the subject, in the late 60s, the crew that came up through the Pirate organization, Hebner, Oliver, Moose, Ellis, Robertson, Sanguillen, Cash, forming that nucleus of a lot of guys that went through that decade of the 70s when the Pirates had such a good run. Scouting, getting the right guys. You know, you can write all the checks you want, but you better get the right personnel, or it's wasted money.
Joaquin Arias at the plate. Boy, you're talking about a great group there, Steve. That's for sure. And we are not going to leave the subject. We're all game long. We're talking scouting. And later on, we'll have Kent Colvey talk about advanced scouting. That's all part of it.
Well, you talked about the hours put in the reports. Bruce Keeson, who now a former Pirate pitcher who scouts for Baltimore, and Bruce would tell me he gets up at like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning to complete his reports from the night before. It's just a ton.
Bounce to third. And nice play again by Alvarez. Maybe cutting off the in-between hop.
Yep. Nice pick by Pedro. After that, it's details. He's going to go to his left here, and yep, Ole, and takes the quick look, and then the Springfield rifle across the infield. He has the arm. This is what scouts used to say too. He's got the good fastball. Not he's got a good fastball. He's got the good, like there's only one.
Yeah.
And that used to be a catchphrase. He's got the good curveball. He's got the good hands.
A dribbler by Belt, and a little hesitation there. Liriano didn't know whether to go for it.
Yep.
And so both he and Sanchez kind of went toward the ball to go as an infield hit.
And that's one of those, you can practice that play time and time again. Every once in a while you will run across the perfect storm where neither the first baseman or the pitcher can take control. Now Liriano follows through to the third base sign. That hurts him right away. And that might have been one of those perfectas that you really can't do much with. A left-hander doesn't follow through toward first, as opposed to a right-hander who might get an extra step or two to help with that play. But that was that looked to me, looking from this height, like it was trouble from the get-go.
Well, Russell Martin now out with Liriano and the batter Juan Perez, who singled to center field in the second. 4 hits now for the Giants. He was ahead of Pence 1 and 2, and Pence doubled over Marte's head. Got Arias to hit a chopper to third, and then the ground ball to first, slowly hit by Belt.
You need that double play again. He got a very, very critical double play in the second inning after the Giants had made some early noise.
Nothing on Perez. Line drive to center field. McCutcheon got a nice jump, went to the slide. Runner at third will tag and score. The block there by Russell Martin.
That ball was hit so hard. It looked like a line drive that was going to fall 20 feet in front of Andrew, but it stayed up. It's had a little bottom spin. That ball's tattooed.
Yeah, and it's a nice play. I just wondered, does he score if he doesn't go to the slide? Probably so. He's got good speed.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the patented McCutcheon dip, and a lot of outfielders are doing that now.
Yeah, well, there was an extra body movement before he released the ball because of the slide. There was an extra step.
You think if he sprints in on that line drive and just make the catch and he's full speed,
yeah,
you wonder if the runner at third.
But it was such a sinking line drive. Yeah. That ball,
the key was to make the catch.
Right, and I had no thought that was going to hang up and be caught.
A nice jump on that ball by McCutcheon.
But it did take an extra movement before he was able to unload the ball. But yeah, the priority is the catch.
Bounce, and Liriano thinking of stabbing the ball barehanded. Instead, a nice play by Neil Walker.
Very
Keep his
nice
footing. Solid defense. Pirates lead 4-2. The son of the former Pirates manager Chuck Tanner makes his major league debut against the Seattle Mariners. He won the game, went 6 2/3 innings, gave up 7 hits, 2 runs, walked a couple, struck out 3. Bruce Tanner, currently a major league scout for the Detroit Tigers. Former Pirates bullpen coach Bruce Tanner. Thanks to Day Automotive, we're going to make your day. And there is not a better person than Bruce Tanner. Maybe no surprise, the offspring of Chuck Tanner, but Bruce is just quality.
The genes are there.
Tigers are lucky to have him. And here is Neil Walker, lined out to right field his first time up against Barry Zito. Looked like the Bucks were going to knock Zito out in that 3rd inning, but he was able to get Martin to hit into that double play. That was big. And Alvarez lined out. Pirates have 8 hits. He retired this bottom third of the order in order in the 2nd. And a fly ball to center. Perez. Again, Walker is the first out of an inning. Then it brings up Brandon Inge, who struck out in the 2nd. Talking about scouts tonight, here's a scouting report on Brandon Inge, who was drafted out of Virginia Commonwealth.
A little different style now as opposed to the other one.
Compact, strong body, well developed, solid and muscular throughout, makes all shortstop plays. Soft, sure hands, can make the play in the hole with the best of them.
And they think they can sign him for $300 grand. That's the signability.
Scouting reports brought to us by the scouting wing of the Hall of Fame. The 1997 scouting report on Brandon Inge. He was 21 years old at the time, playing at Virginia Commonwealth University in Richmond. Bat speed with ability to drive the ball to all fields. Baseball player. We were in Detroit and talking to the Tigers people, including Jim Leland, his former manager, about what a tremendous athlete he still is. But Inge needs to get it going offensively. It's one of the reasons why he's in the lineup, as Clint Hurdle talked about. Can't sit him every day. You got to get him out there, get him some swings against some left-handed pitching. Hope that there's maybe a hit or two, a couple of knocks. He strikes out for the 2nd time, and that's the 3rd K for Barry Zito.
Zito's game is just getting in a groove where he's putting a little on, taking a little off, and he gets in that rhythm, and all of a sudden you look up and he's retired 9 or 10 in a row. That's the way those kind of pitchers work. They don't dazzle you, but almost lull you to sleep. You know, you're just a little bit off. You're just a little bit behind or a little bit out in front. Not by much. It's not alarming, but all of a sudden you see a bunch of routine outs.
Ball 1 on Liriano. The international free agent signing by the Giants. Liriano grounds to 2nd. Play goes 4-3, and again the Pirates go down in order through 4. 4-2 Pittsburgh.
Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Barrel Automotive. We're driven to be better. And by Levin Furniture and the all-new Levin Mattress Stores. For a great deal on a new bed, shop Levin's. Let's go Bucks!
MLB.tv celebrates 11 years with new low yearly prices. Watch every out-of-market game live on over 350 supported mobile and connected devices in HD quality with MLB.tv Premium. Visit MLB.tv today. MLB.tv, baseball everywhere, kids everywhere. Game 2 of this 3-game series, the Pirates and the Giants. Charlie Morton makes his 2013 debut tomorrow. There's Charlie, come off the DL.
Brown Chuck.
He'll come off a start early. The Pirates had hoped he would throw one more game, at least at the minor league level, get up to 7 innings, 100 pitches. And instead, he'll go tomorrow night with Wandy Rodriguez on the DL. Efficient so far.
This probably won't be a headline, but I thought that Liriano did a good job last inning. It looked like he was in trouble, a double, then a single around a ground out. Looked like it could have been something building up for the Giants, and then the very quick second and third out to shut it down, let them only have one run.
We got a tweet tonight. Somebody included a picture in this tweet. How about this one? Steve, what about this guy the Pirates drafted? Found this in my 1966 Pirates yearbook.
There was no draft when I signed in 60. Everybody was a free agent. Everybody was a free agent.
Including Steve Blass.
And I think that's the way it should be. Everybody should be a free agent.
All the time.
All the time. Wide open. Open
everywhere.
market.
Yep.
Open
Not
market.
just baseball players. Everywhere.
Yep.
All over the world. Broadcasters.
It was a night, you talk about nights you won't remember. When I signed my first contract with the Pittsburgh Pirates with my scout Bob Whalen, my parents there, $250 with a $4,000 signing bonus. I was in heaven. I was going to play professional baseball.
And they were going to pay you to play professional baseball.
$250 a month. It was great. On your way to living your dream. Head out to Kingsport, Tennessee. And living in a rooming house with Jim Price, broadcaster for the Detroit Tigers.
1-2 strikes the count on Liriano. On Zito from Liriano.
It was a great year in 1960 for our family, Greg, because I signed my baseball contract. My father won a Ford Falcon in a Fireman's Carnival. That's the good news. It took us about 2 days to find it.
That's the bad news.
No, that's still good news. I'm sorry.
We were talking about the scouts. And there's a guy you could circle, Steve, on your telestrator if you would. Because you and I were talking before the game about when scouts were recognized in media guides. And we went back to the 60s to find out in the Pirates media guides the first time that Pirate players in the bios of these media guides included the scout that signed them was 1994, Cam Bonifay's first year as general manager. So Cam made certain that scouts would be recognized from that point on in media guides, and most media guides around the country now include that. And he's got the stopwatch and the notes.
Yep, and that's a former general manager there scouting now. So that's you can go up the ladder and then you're not general manager, you still can be very, very valuable in terms of evaluating talent. Cam Bonifay in the building, former Pirate GM.
Ball fouled off to the right.
Cam Bonifay, one of the good guys.
Yes. Several years as the Pirates general manager. And Cam Bonifay was the GM from 93 to 2001. Sharply hit.
I was going to ask Neil Huntington too about there used to be the phrase bird dog scouts. They weren't full-time guys, but they could recommend somebody to a salaried scout and kind of be the bird dog, kind of finding like a diamond in the rough, finding somebody that not too many people were looking at. My high school coach was a bird dog scout. In fact, he was on the field when you were kind enough to MC a little thing for my 50 years. Ed Kirby from Falls Village, Connecticut, from our high school. He and his wife came out, were part of that, and he had a lot to do with me signing a professional contract.
Cam Bonifay, by the way, with the Reds now. And there's a ball that is hit weakly through the right side by Torres between the second baseman Walker and the first baseman Gabby Sanchez. It'll be the 5th hit for the San Francisco Giants. A 1-out single by Torres. One out. Concern about Torres.
Kind of an awkward throw to first base. It's hard for a left-hander to be called for a balk, but looked rather uncomfortable for Francisco.
Hit it up the middle. Puts runners at first and second. And now a big test indeed for Liriano as he faces Buster Posey.
This ball hit very hard, not much chance for Francisco to react. He'd already peeled off on his follow through. Didn't have a chance, didn't have time to get back to a fielding position.
Pirates leading 4-2, but here is Buster Posey. He's grounded out twice. Liriano would love that right now. Ball one on Posey.
And he's bounced into 4 double plays. Like to add to that total.
Hitting .283 with men in scoring position. But .345 with less than 2 outs in these situations, and Martin making certain that Torres doesn't try to go any further. One ball, one strike on Posey, who hit .433 against left-handed pitching last season and hit .340 with runners in scoring position last year on his way to the MVP. And the first National League catcher to win a batting title since Ernie Lombardi in 1942. Posey hit .336, beat out Andrew McCutchen, the batting title. McCutchen hit .327.
And also comeback player of the year, National League.
After that bad injury 2 years ago.
Broken ankle.
Got him looking.
And he knew it.
What a big pitch.
Huge.
From Liriano.
Huge strikeout. Just the second one, but couldn't have come at a better time. Just locked him up. See Russell sitting on the outside corner. They hit the outside corner and they get the call. That's the backdoor slider. Looks like it's going to be a fastball staying off the corner. It just ducks in at the last minute, picks up the outside corner, and that's the way you draw up that backdoor slider.
Now this is a guy that has hit the ball hard twice. Hunter Pence. RBI double to right in the first and line to double over Marte's head leading off the fourth.
Was there any more popular person than Hunter Pence when he was available? What, 2 years ago? Everybody wanted Hunter Pence. He went with the Phillies.
Hunter Pence was a big part of their World Series win last year. Traded July 31st last year from the Phillies to the Giants. Nate Shearholtz and a couple other players. Former Astro was traded to the Phillies the year before last. And the Pirates were involved in discussions.
Yeah, everybody wanted him when he was at Houston.
Now it's 3-0. But you have, Steve, this is interesting. Pence, a real dangerous hitter, 2 big swings. You have Joaquin Arias on deck. Now, he's not trying to intentionally walk the bases loaded. But be careful here to Pence. Arias a 230 hitter, 238. And it's 3-1. Marco Scudero, big part of the World Championship last year. Angel Pagan seated next to him. 2 players unavailable, 1 currently on the DL, and there's ball 4.
I think you're right, Greg. I think they'd rather take their chances on the other side of Hunter Pence.
Although Liriano's reaction, as though he was upset with himself that last pitch. So Ray Searage is going to go to the mound, and we might see the bullpen. Looks like it's moving a little bit, even though it's only the 5th inning.
He has labored. Just 1-2-3 inning that came in the 3rd. It's been a grind for Francisco Liriano tonight.
This inning, he got the first out, the pitcher Zito, but gave up a ground single to right. Wasn't hit hard. Abreu hit the ball up the middle. After striking out Posey looking, he walks Pence on 5 pitches. Now faces Arias with 2 outs and the bases loaded.
And perhaps a turning point in the ball game. You wonder how this game is going to evolve. It's been choppy, no real particular rhythm, and it might be one of those things you have to win 7-4 or 9-5, one of those kind of things. But you can step in the better direction by getting a huge out right here. Keep them at 2 runs. This would be huge for Francisco.
Didn't miss by a lot there. But ball 1 on Arias. Second year with the Giants, Arias.
Be nice to be looking back at this out as a turning point in the Pirates' direction.
And missed away. He's not happy there. He thought maybe he should have gotten a call, and I think Russell Martin feels that too, but it was just off the plate. 2-0 on Joaquin Arias. Martin and the home plate umpire there are kind of jawing back and forth.
But now you got to come into the strike zone. You can't play around with that outside corner right now, because you certainly don't want to miss, obviously.
And a line drive to center field. Torres will score, Abreu will score, and this will tie the game. 2-run single for Joaquin Arias, 4-4.
2-0 count, a hitter's count for sure. You got to come back and you got to throw a strike, and he did throw the strike, and Arias made him pay. Russell sitting out there again. They try to keep it away, but not quite far enough away. So you're going to need a barn burner here. 4-4 ball game. This just opens up the door to a whole lot of action.
Fly ball to center. Liriano gets Belt to fly out. Tied at 4. On to the bottom of the 5th. His fastball from Tony Watson off the pinky. Saw a hand specialist today. Not broken, X-ray showed last night, but could be some tendon or nerve damage. Injury update brought to you by our friends at Allegheny Sports Medicine, official medical provider of the Pirates. And there is Dr. Patrick DeMeo, who is the Pirates medical director, seated next to his son PJ, baseball player at Pitt.
And a good one.
And a good doctor there, Pat DeMeo. He takes care of a lot of folks.
Been good to a lot of us.
Yes, he has.
He and his partner Ed Snell and the rest of the medical crew.
AGH. Base hit. Starling Marte, third straight hit. Zito not happy. I don't know whether he's not happy with
change
positioning,
up.
Maybe.
That ball's upstairs.
I think Zito, when he turned, he thought that would be a ground out. Just a guess, but by his reaction, maybe not thrilled with the positioning.
Well, yeah, maybe he's got a grape, but he doesn't have a big grape. The ball was smoked. Even if he's over a couple steps, that ball might be hit so hard that he doesn't have a chance to move too much.
Jordy Mercer takes a strike. Mercer 2 for 2. How about the top of the Pirates batting order?
5 for 5.
Top 3.
Oh, wow. 7 for 7.
7 for 7. Marte, Mercer, McCutchen.
I know as a pitcher, every once in a while you'll throw a ball and it gets hit, and you look around and
where were you?
Yeah, what's going on? That ball should have been an out.
Now that may not be what he was upset about. As Marte takes off, and Marte is in there with a stolen base. That's his 19th. You know, credit Marte. He's unafraid, and he did run into an out last night.
Well, he's still young. He's going to have his game polished for sure. And there's going to be mistakes, and they're going to be painful like the one last night. But the Pirates won the game 8-2. He's still learning. But he's going to have to learn not to run into outs.
An interesting throw of Abreu. If he holds on to, he's trying to make a quick tag. He'd have had Marte. Tony Abreu playing second base. Marco Scudero out. Marte 3 for 3. He has scored 2 runs.
You know, Tom Foley used to talk about the art of the tag at second base and the ability to put down a quick tag and buy a call.
And look at him going the other way. Jordy Mercer. The top 3. Marte, Mercer, and McCutchen doing the job. Mercer now 3 for 3. And see him going the other way to at least move the runner, Marte.
You would think this is going to activate the San Francisco bullpen. Pirates double figures in hits now, and they are set up to regain the lead.
A great job by Jordy Mercer. Committed to going the other way, and he singles to right.
So both these balls finding the hole, Marte and Mercer, and it's the 3 M's.
Yep.
Isn't that a company, 3M?
Mm-hmm.
Minnesota Mining and Manufacturing.
McCutchen has singled home a run and doubled home a pair. He was 2 for 3 last night and was on base 4 times. See our dedication to the scouts tonight, dedicating this ball game. And what Rob Sidwell saw, a young man out of the high school in Fort Meade, Florida. Now 26 years old, Andrew McCutchen. huge gap in right center field for McCutchen, but oftentimes will pull the ball. And Bochy, one of the few managers, and Wotus now, one of the few that don't overcommit, that don't shift on McCutchen, shade even the second baseman. They play pretty much playing straight up on McCutchen, with the first baseman Belt holding Mercer.
Mr. Zito might be working with a short leash at this point.
He did start the bullpen, Wotus.
'52 would be Ramon Ramirez. Just like the information shows you.
Two and two the count on McCutchen. Javi Sanchez on deck. 4-4 ball game. Struck him out looking. McCutchen says, no way. Rarely do you see McCutchen say anything at all. Fourth strikeout for Barry Zito.
And a huge strikeout as it is. They're saying he picked up the inside corner.
McCutchen was right. That was a ball inside. Big time strikeout for Zito as he gets the call from Marvin Hudson. And McCutchen still shaking his head. Sanchez 1 for 2. Now a double play can get Zito out of the inning.
Barry Zito certainly knows his strengths and weaknesses, knows he has to hit spots. Gets the call and a huge turnaround at bat with Andrew McCutchen. A bat that could possibly turn this half inning upside down.
Now Sanchez out in front, the count 2-0. Still steaming. Liriano hoping the Bucks can get the lead back.
Yep, it was a 2-0 count that Arias got the base hit to drive in a couple runs. Very much a hitter's count. Javi Sanchez sitting pretty.
And 3-0. Ron Wotus, time Pirate product, played a couple years with the Bucks. Russell Martin next. Four-pitch walk to load them up for Russell Martin. Martin is 1 for 2 tonight.
First walk issued.
And Martin came in a career 167 hitter against Zito. Of course, they were both in the National League West for a while. Russell Martin, 17th round pick of the Dodgers. Drafted in the 2002 draft, 17th round. You see the scout that signed him at Chipola Junior College, Marietta, Florida. Canadian native. Dodgers scout Logan White saw Russell Martin as an amateur third baseman and projected he could be a fine catcher. He was right on the money there. All-Star, Gold Glover. Handful of years with the Dodgers. And now Rags, Dave Righetti, will join in the conversation. Zito and Posey. Now to pitch Russell Martin.
And pitching coach Righetti out there. Ron Wotus with Pittsburgh in 1984 when they had Hawaii as a AAA club. And there were reports when the Pirates called Hawaii and said, we're bringing it up, people would hang up on them.
Yeah.
Pretty nice duty playing baseball in Hawaii.
See, the Reds were winners again. Beat the Cubs. The Pirates a half game back of the Reds for second place in the Central. Next road trip, the Pirates will be in Cincinnati. 1-0 the count on Russell Martin. Takes the big cut and comes up empty. It's 1-1. Russell Martin has started to heat things up at the plate. 2 for 4 last night. Scored a couple of runs, drove in a run. Now with 5 hits in his last 13 at bats. Homered last night, or sorry, a couple nights ago. Russell Martin takes a ball. 100th home run of his career. The 8th inning on Saturday in Chicago. 2-1 count, but just a hit will do. Even a fly ball with some depth will certainly score Marte. Doesn't have to be all that deep. Lined off the first baseman. It's going to be a possible double play, but no, they'll get just the 1 out. And Brandon Belt tried to sell that to first base umpire Tim McClellan like it didn't hit the ground, but McClellan said no, and the Pirates get a run out of it.
That looked scary for a moment, but the pick was ruled accurately, and the Pirates get the run. Check this out. I thought it was the double play.
Boy, because his reaction, he's going to tag the runner. So he must have thought he got the ball on the line. Because if he thinks it's on the ground, Steve, he turns right away and fires to second. They get the double play, right? But that hesitation cost them.
Yep, that's exactly right.
And Zito did not cover first. Fielder's choice, 3-6 RBI. Pirates lead 5-4. And there's a line drive to right field, and extra bases for Pedro Alvarez. Raging bull into second base. Rips it to right field.
When he makes contact, things happen.
His 38th RBI off the lefty Zito.
Boy, he just got the body out of the way and just ripped it on one hop to the wall. Got those hands inside. The good part of the bat was making contact. Gave it a ride.
Bucks up 6-4, and that will be it for Barry Zito. He got the big strikeout of McCutchen. Then he walked Gabby Sanchez on 4 pitches. Martin stung that ball. Brandon Belt, the first baseman, acted as if the ball did not hit the ground, but Tim McClellan claimed it did. They got just 1 out. And Pedro Alvarez rips a double to right to knock out Zito. Run to Starling Marte in the 6th inning. He also gave up a deep drive to Neil Walker to the wall and left, and the pitcher, Garrett Cole, lined a ball to center field off of him. We'll see if Neil Walker, once again batting from the right side, can deliver with 2 men in scoring position and 2 outs. After Pedro Alvarez doubles to right off the lefty Zito, giving him 38 RBIs on the year.
You talked about left-hand numbers against Zito, so it applies to that.
And Neil Walker rips it to right, and they're going to wave home Alvarez. Pence's throw will be off the mark. A big 2-out single to right for Neil Walker. The Bucks increase their lead to 8-4 in the 5th.
Huge hit. And you're on a roll. You got 2 outs. I like the move by Nick Leyva. Well, obviously going to say because it worked out, but why not take a shot with 2 outs? How many guys get thrown out at home plate? That throw way off the mark became easy. It was going to get dicey if it's on the money, but it wasn't. And the Pirates, for the 2nd straight night, with room to go and grow, score 8 runs. Last night they got 8. They're at 8 right now.
And Neil Walker, as a right-hand hitter, picks up his 2nd and 3rd RBIs from that side of the plate. 18 on the season for Walker, who's hitting better than the 171 average from that right side of the plate. The more lefties he sees, the better swings. Talked about the line out last night off of Mijares, off the bat of Neil Walker, deep to left actually. And a line out his first at bat against Zito. I think the calls that I've heard some people suggest that it's time for him to think about batting only as left-hand hitter. Very premature.
Yes.
He just needs to see more of that pitching, get more swings.
We want everything to be real good right away for these players when they come up to the big leagues, and it's an evolving process.
Been talking a lot about scouting tonight, of course, and 1st-round picks who came through last night for the Pirates and again tonight. McCutchen with 3 RBIs this evening. Pedro Alvarez, 1st-round pick, the double. Neil Walker, the 2-run single. But Neil Huntington, who joined us in the 3rd inning, will talk also about later round picks. The 3rd rounder, for example, Jordy Mercer out of Oklahoma State, has 3 hits tonight. A high fly ball to left field off the bat of Brandon Inge, and approaching the wall, Torres puts it away. Pirates send 8 men to the plate. Kent Colby will join us. and the legend straight out of Marietta College, Teak. Hashtag Bucks Booth, our AT&T tweet. Kent Tekulve joins us, who can talk a lot about scouting. Teak, you were a one-time advanced scout, of course, a great player with the Pirates, and then you were an advanced scout for the Pirates for a time. What was that like?
Well, Greg, it's funny because when you talk about an advanced scout, you've been talking about scouts all night. They're rating talents, they're rating speed, how hard can he throw, how far can he hit it, all that stuff. The advanced scout really isn't a scout in that sense. He's more of a reconnaissance man. He's out watching the opposition play that you're going to play in the next series or the next two series, and trying to find out what certain guys do in certain situations. What type of approach does this hitter take if there's a man in scoring position? What type of approach does he take when there's nobody on base? Pitchers the same way. Who may run and who doesn't run on the club, who would steal a base, and in what counts would they steal the base? So you keep a lot of records, and you kind of over time build a database of tendencies for both the offensive and defensive players of the team that you're scouting.
And who's hot, who's not.
Who's hot, who's not.
That's a fair ball. Well, thankfully, the ball girl didn't get a chance. She didn't realize it was a foul ball. A fair ball. She thought it was foul.
Yeah, and I would keep charts like the last 5 days on the relief pitchers.
And this is a scouting report you had on Liriano.
Right. This is one I pulled out actually the other day when Liriano first came up. I was checking his velocities. So, you look at this, what does he do against left-handed pitchers? What does he do against right-handed hitters? What does he like to do first pitch? What kind of pitch does he want to throw? So you're doing all of that type of information per player individually. And then this was, again, that report was from Liriano in 2006 when he was just on fire in the American League. This guy was as good as anybody.
When the Pirates were playing the Twins interleague play.
Right, we played the interleague play. I went to the Metrodome, scouted the Twins up there for 3 games, and then sent the information back here to Pittsburgh to help us out, when we face these guys that we really haven't seen.
And Teak, the little nuggets there that you had there suggest maybe stepping out, slowing him down, slowing his rhythm down. And there is a double play ball. Liriano gets it.
How big is that again? This is one of those barn burner kind of games. Well, you love the double plays because it's a game where there's going to be constant action.
Yeah,
there's going to be action.
We have not seen anybody score that hasn't been answered so far tonight.
Yeah.
But no, when you're watching with Liriano when he first started, he's 20 years old. It was so easy for him. He was just playing out in the park. He wasn't in a big league stadium. Trying to think of something just to break up his rhythm, make him actually think about what he has to do other than how easy it is.
Brett Pill is going to pinch hit for Mijares. And ball one, Kent Tekulve joins us. Kent Tekulve was a non-drafted free agent out of Marietta College. And, of course, a great career. Longtime Pirate closer, and then became an advanced scout. Play goes 5-3. Teak, can you stick around for another half?
Yeah,
okay. 5-3 on the put out. And we'll go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Nice work from Liriano there. 8-4 Bucks.
Ball on Root Sports is brought to you by 5-Hour Energy Shots and by Day Automotive. We're going to make your day. Let's go Bucks.
Pirates lead 8-4. Good to get this game official because we know a big-time storm is imminent. We had heard maybe around 10 o'clock, so we're fine. The game is official, and the Pirates lead it 8-4. We have Kent Jacoby with us. We're talking throughout the game about scouting. Ramon Ramirez is the new pitcher. See what he's done in 5 outings, and all kinds of scouting. We talk about the amateur scouts, the pro scouts, advanced scouts, international scouting. And Teague, for a time, was an advanced scout. And as you said, Teague, it's a different animal.
Yeah, you're really not a scout.
Yeah,
you're an information collector.
Yeah. And you had we showed the report you had on Francisco Liriano, and we're talking during the break. For an advanced scout, you're ahead of where, in this case, the Pirates, the team they were playing, right. You're ahead a series or so, and then you're off to the next city. So you really don't have any way to know whether what you were telling the Pirates at the time was even working.
Well, what they were doing with it, no, because I was watching the next city.
Right.
Typically for an advanced scout, you tried to stay 5 games ahead of where your major league team was, and the reason why you wanted to stay 5 games ahead was it's a 5-man rotation. So therefore you want to try to see the pitchers that you're going to see in the next series. So that's why you try to stay 5 ahead. So, yeah.
Alex Presley, and gone! Alex Presley, a pinch hit home run off Ramirez.
How about that? How about Darren Mazeroski watching that? The scout that signed Alex Presley.
Great call. He's all shook up. Alex Presley with a home run. A pinch hit drive to give the Pirates a 9-4 lead.
And we've been waiting for this because it's been a whole lot about pitching the first part of this season. And now, hopefully, the Pirates can get a little run going with the offense. 8 runs last night, 9 and counting tonight. Boy, does that make everybody relax.
First home run this season for Alex Presley, who homered 10 times last year. And Steve was talking about Darren Mazeroski, the scout that signed Alex Presley, the son of the Pirate Hall of Famer, Bill Mazeroski. And look at the home run. This ball fouled out of play. Another look at the home run. Presley, his first, well up over the Clemente wall.
The scouting report on that one will appear on a lot of left-handers' charts. Likes the ball down and on the inner half of the plate.
Those lefties, they love to go down and get it. They love to go down. They should all be good golfers when they stop playing.
Vast majority of those left-hand hitters. Darren Mazeroski signing these players on the current 40-man roster. Phil Irwin pitched a game this season at the big league level. Kyle McPherson has pitched to the big leagues.
And don't think for a moment that Grandpa Bill doesn't keep track of that stuff, too.
2-1 on Starling Marte. 3 for 3 today. Pirates have collected 13 hits, waiting for this offense to get up off the deck. And going back to last night, 8 runs, 12 hits. Tonight, 9 runs, 13 hits. Giants pitching.
How about the Barry Zito ERA away from AT&T Park?
Over 10.
It was 10 coming in.
Yeah.
And now 8 tonight? Ouch.
Giants staff, 4th highest ERA in the league. 2-2 on Starling Marte.
When you think of what the Giants staff was a couple of years ago.
That's how they won that's based on that pitching, right? That's how they won 2 World Series.
Absolutely.
Last 3 years.
They didn't hit very well, but boy, they could pitch night after night after night.
2-2 count on Marte. Leadoff pinch hit home run for Presley, batting for Liriano against the new pitcher Ramirez. And there's another hit, a 4-hit night for Starling Marte after the home run by Presley. First career 4-hit night for Starling Marte. I think earlier we were talking about international scouting and Rene Gallo. Very much involved in Marte's signing and a handful of other players that will be part of the Pirates in the not too distant future. He's been an outstanding scout internationally. We were also talking earlier with Howie Hake. You knew Howie very well.
Absolutely.
Howie the Hatchet.
Everybody's got a story with Howie.
Yep.
He was a beauty.
Every time he came to town, somebody got released.
Yeah. But he came with 3 other guys to replace him.
Right. Yep. But, he made his name in the Caribbean, and then just wandered around all the minor league affiliates of the Pirates. And when he came to town, boy, you were frightened.
Mercer looking for his own 4-hit night. Got jammed and hits a fly ball to left. Brings up McCutchen. You know, Teak, when being a former advanced scout, do you are you somewhat amazed or curious that now whether you're an advanced scout, you get the information that, or be it computers or video or whatever it might be, that in terms of the shift, you see some teams, like against the Brewers, they shift, they have 3 infielders on the left side of that infield. They're getting the same exact information these days as all the other teams in baseball, but yet, and we talked about this last night, Bruce Bochy doesn't seem to, he doesn't shift at all. He's just old school.
Yeah, some clubs like it, some don't. And, shifts are basically generated out of computers, where the ball's hit particular times. I always thought when I was advancing now, I was out on the road. Most of the advanced scouting nowadays is video scouting off of the video. I always wanted to look away from the baseball because the camera will always follow the baseball. They'll see, on that video what everybody else is going to see. But can I see it that shortstop's cheating over toward the middle a little bit on a fastball and kind of, maybe coming up a step on a changeup or something like that? That will never show up on the video. So, the Pirates have switched now. Wyatt Torriega's new, he was catcher in the organization. Got released at the end of last year. He is now doing the video scouting for the ball club, and they have their whole new system about how they do it. A lot of computer stuff in it, and also then the information that he gets when he charts off of the video goes into the computer, and then they kind of generate these reports as far as what they want to do, how they want to do it.
McCutchen up until McCutchen up until this season, there were some teams that would play their third baseman in because he would drop a bunt down on occasion. I'll never forget Jason Kendall when he tore up his ankle at Three Rivers. He said that was on a bunt attempt against the Brewers. He said that when he came back, I will never bunt again. And for, several years, he never even showed bunt, and yet teams forever would still have their third baseman in, and that kind of just surprised me. You're talking about different teams getting kind of the same report,
right?
Different things.
That's the kind of information you may pick up reading the paper the next day in the town that you're in.
Marte takes off and another steal. Number 20.
Not only is he getting base hits, he's turning them all into doubles.
And how the game has changed. 5-run lead, and off he goes.
Oh.
They all do it now.
Oh, yeah. When I was pitching, if you had a 1-run lead in the 9th inning, there was no chance anybody was going to steal, and there was no chance anybody was going to sacrifice bunt because they didn't want to take the chance of giving a run away. Now, with all the times and everything else, if you can make it, why not take it? Do you take the double play out of order? A lot of things are on the positive side right there. Marte, steal second base.
Do you know if 5 is enough?
Yeah. And, and McCutchen at the plate now, it's impossible for him to hit into a double play unless it's a line drive double play. So you've changed the odds in your club's favor by doing that.
Now, going back to the shifting, do you think with the Giants having won 2 World Series recently and not shifting, do you think the jury's still out on the whole idea of shifting?
I think it's probably like everything else in baseball. Somebody does it long enough and it works, everybody else will be doing it. We used to have the closers would pitch 3 innings. Bruce Sutter started pitching 1 inning, and all of a sudden everybody was doing it.
Ball popped up. We have a Twitter question for Teak. 2 outs as McCutchen pops up. Does an advanced scout have any involvement when the team is trying to make a trade? Good question from Finner Photos.
Yeah, no, the advanced scout really doesn't have anything to do because he's not one of the scouts that's evaluating the talent. How much talent are we giving up? How much talent are we giving back? What position do we need to fill? Stuff like that. Again, that's the only scout that isn't scouting and rating talent.
Interesting. Next opponent. Next opponent.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I would never have gotten a call.
Well, there's a gap shot by Gabby Sanchez. This will score Marte. Gabby Sanchez with his second hit. He's on base 3 times tonight. The Pirates have now scored 10 runs and have collected 15 hits.
See what Garrett Cole started last night?
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly right.
Hits with men on base.
And he started Fun at the Ballpark.
Yeah.
His homestand.
Absolutely. And he's going to get to wrap up Fun at the Ballpark.
Sunday.
Yep.
Upstairs, they all like it. They love the high stuff.
Anything, the closer to their eyes, the better they like it.
Yep.
100 career doubles for Gabby Sanchez.
Well, this is wonderful. You get the air cleared.
Also gives everybody on the Bucko Ball Club a chance to just exhale for a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, we've gone through that little bit of a tough stretch, and especially when you're not scoring runs, that has a tendency to be on your mind, and they're venting it quite nicely tonight.
And you go up to the batter's box. It's so comfortable now. There's no pressure. I'm not trying to win the ball game with one swing of the bat. I'm in the flow.
Yeah, and I'm sure you were the same way I was. Is that you don't want to be out there on the mound when they got this kind of lead, because they are not obliged to do anything. They can do whatever they want. You know, they've got a 6-run lead. The Buccos can continue. You can hit it the other way. You can go for the homer. You can do whatever you want, and the pitcher is basically defenseless at that point.
You were hoping the phone wouldn't ring. I was already in the shower.
Well, okay. Well, I used to have a trunk. I used to hide in there every once in a while.
There's two ways of looking at this.
Yeah.
You are the victim or the perpetrator. But it's fun for the Pirates right now. And the Giants obviously have these kind of games in their favor, but right now the Pirates are on a roll with the offense. They're hitting the ball.
Russell Martin on base again, drawing the walk. Not a good outing for Ramon Ramirez, to say the least. And here comes Dave Righetti. Giants.
And now you got the Giants in one of those situations where,
can we save some arms?
Yeah, can we save some arms? So this guy, is he going to stay out there? He's obviously having a tough night of it. Can we just, should we leave him out here and let him score another 4 or 5 runs? And that's when you're on the other side. That's when it's fun.
Yeah. How about Ron Wodas? He gets a chance to manage for a night. Oh, boy, step right up, Ron.
Well, their starter.
Another former Bucko.
Back-to-back nights, Lincecum and Zeta go 4 2/3 innings, so the bullpen pressed into early action. Javier Lopez, the former Pirate.
That's Ron. Yep. Tough night. What do we do next?
Oh boy, here comes Alvarez. He swings hard anyway, but leading 10-4 against this right-hander, 2 on. The way he's been feeling, look out.
This is Kennywood. This is a free ride.
He gets anything close, he is going to take one vicious swing.
And you think about Dave Righetti going out there, and you hope that Ramirez is telling him, hey, I know I'll be your dog tonight. I'll stay out here and take the beating. You really, really respect that, and hope every once in a while you hear that from the guy that's getting his brains beat out there.
Teak, what would if you're an advanced scout for the Giants and you had wanted to give an advanced scouting report on Alvarez, what would you be saying these days, the way he's swinging the ball? He's so comfortable.
Well, first of all, you would say that he's now in one of those hot lists, as opposed to the not list. The not list he would have been on 3 weeks ago, and this guy's swinging the bat terrible, and he's not swinging. So if you're looking for an out in the middle of a rally, see if you can find your way to Pedro Alvarez. That was 3 weeks ago. That's my advanced report then. Now it's totally different.
Yeah.
Hey, watch out for Alvarez. This guy is red hot. He's not missing anything. He's hitting everything on the button. And he's not only hitting it hard, he's hitting it high and long. So, that would dictate just a totally different approach to Pedro when he's not in that hot streak.
He missed that one. But the Pirates lead 10-4. Teak, thanks so much.
All right, Greg.
We'll look for Teak on the postgame.
Good to be with you, man.
Yeah.
Their friends from across town come and take a little bit BP and shag a few balls in the outfield. Yes, some of the members of the Pittsburgh Penguins, Pascal Dupuis, there's Matt Cook knocking a few ground balls in the batting cage, Marc-Andre Fleury, Dupuis taking a few hacks. Who knew a lot of these guys were left-handed hitters? There's Robert Bortuzzo swinging from the right side. Looks like Bortuzzo there Fleury rather, trying to track down a couple fly balls in the outfield, and Dupuis, Pedro Alvarez shaking hands. Brandon Inge was out there along with Neil Walker, and Neil Walker and Matt Cook have a friendship, so that's kind of how everything started. As we obviously know, the Pirates wore Penguins jerseys on a couple road trips ago and supported them on their playoff run. So nice to have them back here at the ballpark again tonight, Greg.
And thank you very much, Robbie. And Steve, not that anybody gives two hoots about what you and I think, but thanks, Ray Shiro. I like the move.
Yep.
Dan Bylsma, the extension.
Yep. Yeah,
we applaud that one.
Yeah, this was a terrific season for them. You know, they ran into a hot goaltender, and I don't know. I don't want to see that team get blown up. I think they're pretty darn good.
Alex Presley stays in the game to play right field after the pinch hit homer. Justin Wilson takes over for Liriano, who's in line to go to 5-2. Wilson figures to pitch at least an inning, but it's so interesting that you're in that situation that Clint Hurdle has talked about. It's never easy, because as much as you want to give the bullpen time off, there are pitchers that he wants in there to stay sharp. Jason Grilli, for example, has not pitched since Friday. He has said before that after 2 or 3 nights off, he needs Grilli in there to stay sharp. Well, we'll see if Grilli gets some work later.
Well, you know, if you're having a good year like Liriano is, this is the kind of thing that really helps. He's given up 4 runs in 6 innings. That's not real good. But when your team scores 10, you can pick up that W on a night where you're not real sharp. That's when you're on a pretty good roll.
This guy's on a pretty good roll. Justin Wilson.
Yes.
He's been outstanding out of that bullpen. He has given Hurdle, along with Brian Morris, Vin Mazzaro, some length.
How about the job? Maybe not getting a lot of headlines, but Brian Morris has really done a terrific job. Not to take away anything anybody else has done. The bullpen has been great, but Brian Morris kind of a little bit under the radar in terms of exposure and attention and all that sort of thing. He has been terrific.
Well, I think, Steve, unless you're Melanson and Grilli, the setup man and the closer, these guys, the middle guys, don't get a lot of attention. But yeah, there's Brian Morris.
Yep.
He's done great work, as has this Justin Wilson. And Clint Hurdle pointed out, and he talked to the media before the game today, he said, did anybody ask me at all, and he knew the answer was no, about the job that Vin Mazzaro did last night? He said that was a story. He said Mazzaro, he could have been the villain if he gives up a home run to Posey in that 7th inning, but all he did was get a big out, and Pirates preserved the lead in the 7th inning last night. Line sharply into the seats. 0-2 on Tony Abreu. Justin Wilson has been charged with 3 earned runs in his previous 28 innings, or he had been anyway, before he gave up a home run to Cody Ransom. A 3-run homer. Win certainly helped, and Wilson basically tipped his cap to Cody Ransom. Can't be perfect every night. The job this bullpen has done for the Pirates.
Greg, I got a headline for you. This just in. The Cardinals are losing a baseball game.
Boy,
late.
that is headline news. What's the score?
5-1 in the 8th.
Oh, man. Base hit with 1 out. Sunday, Pirates and Dodgers meet. Final game of this homestand, 1:35, and Garrett Cole will take the mound against Clayton Kershaw. And all kids and dads take home a replica Sunday alternate cap, thanks to Trib Total Media. Come early for the #1 Cochran Family Fun Zone on Federal Street. After the game, kids then run the bases. Spend your Father's Day here Sunday. Go to Pirates.com for tickets. And
How about that?
I'm sorry, I said Kershaw. Kershaw pitches Saturday against Jeff Locke. Zach Greinke pitches Sunday against Garrett Cole.
Westwood against Los Angeles, UCLA.
And another base hit. First and second. After the out was recorded, Abreu and Posey hit singles to center field off Justin Wilson. Brings up Hunter Pence. The Pirates up by 6. The Giants aren't going to go quietly, certainly not this man, Pence, who was a 2 for 2 plus a walk against Liriano. Hunter Pence, nicknamed Full Throttle. Perfect nickname. Never stops going. The former Astro, Philly, and now Giant. Two on, one out. Arias on deck.
The Pirates have turned a couple double plays. Another one would fit here. Pence is hit into 7.
One ball, one strike. Justin Wilson, a 5th round pick in 2008 out of Fresno State. Talking about scouting tonight, Sean Campbell was the Pirate scout that signed Wilson. Bouncer to first. Sanchez will throw to second for 1. Wilson gets over, but it's thrown into the dugout by Jordy Mercer. And that will allow a run to score. I think if you had to do it over against Steve, maybe he doesn't even throw it. I don't know if they had a chance, did they? A lot of traffic over there.
A lot of traffic, and Pence really runs well.
Let's take a look. Did he even have a shot at a double play?
No. No. Pence was gone.
Fielder's choice, error, no RBI.
Yep, you got a big lead. Take the sure out. If you had to do it over again, you don't want to give up the opportunity for a double play. That one didn't work.
Third error for Mercer. And now Joaquin Arias. Mercer tonight at the plate, 3 for 4 with a couple of runs scored. I asked Clint Hurdle before the game about how he thought Mercer has been doing defensively. And he said solid. And there's a base hit. And Hunter Pence will score. It's 10-6. Arias with a 3 RBI night.
Take it.
Giants battling back. 10-6 ball game.
Everybody's swinging the bat. It's a barn burner. It's official.
It's the 11th hit for the Giants. It's the 2nd hit for Joaquin Arias. And now Clint Hurdle will get the bullpen going again as the Pirates shift on Brandon Belt. Takes the strike. 2 outs in the inning. Two on Belt. Justin Wilson was drafted out of Fresno State and was a starter throughout his minor league career until last season is when they really started to think about bringing him to the big leagues as a reliever. He did make 9 bullpen appearances in 2011 at AAA Indy. Then Mazzaro, Mike Zagurski loosening the Pirates bullpen.
It's one of those nights where they say you've got the mound so messed up nobody can pitch off it.
Ground ball left side. They're beating the shift right there. A weak ground ball, but with Alvarez, the lone man on the left side, Brandon Belt grounds it into left. We're talking to Kent Tekulve about advanced scouting and shifting. It's a pretty easy play if Mercer is there, but they go by the percentages and what works.
No harm done by that single to beat the shift. However, it extends the inning.
Juan Perez 2 for 2 with a sacrifice line out to center. Fastball at 91. I've not been watching, but Wilson, most nights 95, 96, sometimes 97 with that fastball.
Maybe a situation.
That was 97.
It may be a situation where it's not a convenience for Grilly. It might become necessary.
Yeah, that's right. Whether he wanted to get him into the game just to keep him sharp or not, the way it's looking,
it's one of those nights.
They need Melanson in the 8th and really in the 9th.
Yeah, 27 hits combined, 16 runs.
Haven't seen a lot of this for sure this season. Both teams swinging the lumber.
Yep, these nights happen. What causes it? Who knows?
Well, Steve, heck, 162 games. You've said so many times before. Sometimes you got to outpitch them. Sometimes you got to out hit them.
Yep.
Right.
You got to out hit them tonight.
Bounding ball to the shortstop Mercer, and on to first to get the out. Big stretch there by Gabby Sanchez. We'll keep it here for the 7th inning stretch. The Giants pick up a couple. Pirates lead is 10-6. Both runs were earned against Justin Wilson. The Pirates go back to work with the bats.
The bouncing Eaton Park Smiley Cookie. And join everyone watching at home on Root Sports as we sing Take Me Out to the Ball Game.
Indeed.
Rob, the Pirates would move to within 3 games. The Reds would pull to within 2.5 games of the Cardinals in the National League Central. And as we said, during the next road trip, and it's a long one for Pittsburgh, they will face the Cincinnati Reds in a 4-game series starting Monday night. Just so happens the Pirates and Cardinals will meet a bunch after the All-Star break. That could be quite a handful of series head-to-head. Neil Walker drives one to right field, enough height, and it is off the top of the wall. Walker into second base with a double. just missing a home run, and Clint Hurdle is going to ask for a review. So hold everything. Pirates keep on hitting.
And Neil really went into second base hard. So looks like he's upright and okay. He just blistered that ball. Blistered it. And again, there's that rail that's painted yellow.
We went to Mike Michlinski first, and now Michlinski will gather with the umpiring crew and see if they won't go ahead and decide to look at a replay. Neil Walker, at the least, has the double after a 2-run single in the 5th off of the lefty Maharis, batting from the left side against the righty Ramirez.
It's the conference.
Crew chief Tim McClellan and they are going to go ahead and take a look at it. And let's see what they will see.
You see that railing? We can point it. It's right along there, and then there's a chain link fence under it.
This is what they will be seeing here shortly. Got a couple of different angles. No, I don't think so.
That's underneath the yellow line.
Yep.
It hits that chain link fence.
Wait, did it hit the chair? Was that behind the yellow line, Steve? It hit that chair. I think it did. You know, did you see Belt's reaction, by the way? That's what, to me, was a giveaway. Belt knew it when he's the first baseman. Yeah, I think it's a home run, actually.
He did come up out of the chair.
Take a look. Yeah, I think it's a home run. Let's see it in real speed. Would a ball off a chain link fence react like this? Or more off the back of the chair?
Yeah, it probably would have come more straight down and just softened.
Yep.
Come on, guys, tell us. What do you think out
guys?
there? If it hit the seat of the chair, bounced up off the back of the chair, that's what jumped it back out onto the field. Well, let's hope that's the case.
Neil Walker waiting, and possibly his 5th home run. Again, our best look.
See the guy in the red, he's kind of
there's definitely, look at the guy in the white. Definitely a home run. Neil Walker hits the home run after review, his 5th. And now the fireworks can go off.
Yeah.
Number 5 for Neil Walker.
He gets the cheers of the crowd twice. Once for a double, once for a home run. 2 real strong at-bats for Neil. 2 for 4. 0 for 2 and then 2 for 2.
That is the 5th play that has been reviewed this season in a Pirates game. And the second one here at PNC Park. Pitching change. Neil Walker's home run, number 5, gives the Bucks an 11-6 lead. single in the 5th. A leadoff home run off Ramirez here in the 7th to give the Pirates an 11-6 lead. Walker, a former first-round pick. We're talking about scouting tonight. Clint Hurdle, of course, very highly touted first-round pick back in 1975 by Kansas City. And this was the scouting report from Tom Barrick in 1975 on Clint Hurdle. And glowing reports. Look at all the sevens. That's the high number for scouting terminology. And see the good work they thought of Clint Hurdle. All very good on the right-hand side. Habits, agility. Aptitude, physical maturity, habits, all good. That scouting report. Good athletic body.
See Clint there, he would tell you he's managing very well tonight. You get 11 runs, you can really manage well. He'd be the first one to.
Boy, first time since July 2nd, July 3rd last year, the Pirates have scored 8 or more runs back to back. Javier Lopez facing Garrett Jones, who was announced as the pinch hitter. Former Pirate. Lopez spent part of the 2010 season with Pittsburgh.
Very much the specialist.
He has been an integral part of the success of these Giants for sure. Had 7 saves last year, .250 ERA.
25 appearances, 15 innings.
That's a specialist.
Well, it's official. Those Cardinals lose again.
So a win gets the Pirates to within 3 of the Cardinals. Jones bounces this to first. And that is the first out. And brings up Alex Presley. And you know, Jay Bell has to be thrilled. The hitting coach. And the offense busts out back-to-back games. Jay Bell, a former first-round pick of the Minnesota Twins in 1984. This was a report from Joe Branzel, then of Texas in 1984. Running speed and quickness was a weakness, but the hitting potential and possibly with power, live strong body. And a handwritten, I don't know if you can see that. I don't know about what position. I don't know what position. Of course, Jay Bell turned out to be a Gold Glove all-star shortstop for many years. And then later found that power with the Arizona Diamondbacks. In 1999, 38 homers and 112 runs batted in. He was always a solid offensive player with Pittsburgh. Hit 300 in 1993.
I never saw one thing out on that scouting report about being a good bunter.
That should have been something in there about a good bunter, huh?
And he was.
Presley, who had a pinch hit homer and stayed in the game to play right, flies out to left. Thank the Baseball Hall of Fame scouting wing in Cooperstown for all this information. And you can check it out too. Scouts.baseballhall.org. Interesting to go back and see what the scouting reports were of players over the years.
It'd be a double switch here as Blanco goes out to play center field.
I wish we had Teakin here earlier. I wish we'd gotten to his scouting report from Joe Banzel of the Texas Rangers in 1977. It'll be fun to go over that scouting report on Kent Colby when we come back. 11-6. Pirates lead it. report when he was pitching for the Pirates as Texas Ranger scout Joe Banzel in 1977. Good composure, liked to pitch, did not cry when they brought Gossage in and gave him his #1 relief job.
There's no crying in baseball.
Just kept plugging when asked, and finished with 10-1, 7 saves in 1977. I like his temperament and his getting the job done. He might not have the best stuff, but he gets the job done, and did he ever. Kent Tekulve. Officially 158 saves, the most in Pirates history. Elroy Face had 188. That save stat became official 1969 as Marte fouls the pitch off, and it's 0-2.
The rubber band man.
.722 career games, second behind Elroy Face. Kent Tekulve. Antique finished his career with a 2.67, his Pirates career, 2.67 ERA. That is 6th best in Pittsburgh Pirates history. And of course, led the way in 1979. The Bucks won it all. 11-6 Pirates.
They really never missed a beat, and Greg showed his face a lot, and Neil would come by a few times, and it was something that fortunately I had an opportunity to go through in high school, so it wasn't a big of a shock when I was in college. And then Trevor was there. We had a couple draft picks the year previous with Rasmussen and Klein, and then Trevor was there my junior year to kind of take some of the spotlight off me as well. So it went smoothly.
He was talking about Garrett Cole there, a former first-round pick, #1 pick in the nation 2 years ago at UCLA. Talking about his former Bruin teammate, Trevor Bauer, who the Diamondbacks drafted, and Bauer has been traded to Cleveland. Bauer got to the big leagues quicker, but you have to say it's early. Garrett Cole maybe had a better debut, but both pitchers figure to have pretty strong careers. Tony Watson. And he was also referring to Greg Smith, the then director of scouting, now assistant general manager, and Neil Huntington.
Well, he polarized that crowd last night.
Didn't he, though?
He did. It was a great night for this ballpark and fans to see.
That's a good night tonight, 19,966. But how many did he pull in himself?
Do we ever know what the walk-up was?
No, they don't announce that anymore. 30,614 was the total paid. You'd have to think it was in close to 10. Close to 10, right?
Yeah, I would guess. I was looking out over the railing over by the elevator when we head downstairs, and well, there was lines for a lot of reasons, not the least of which is Garrett Cole.
Brandon Crawford facing the new pitcher, Tony Watson. Justin Wilson went the 7th. Watson hit Scudero last night, but again, as Clint Hurdle pointed out, in case you're just joining us, we didn't talk about this lately, but He hit Scudero with Buster Posey on deck in a close ball game. Hurdle said, I don't think you're going to want to put a guy on for free and have Buster Posey come to the plate. And now Crawford on a 1-2 pitch. Singles to left off Tony Watson.
And the hits just keep on coming.
First for Crawford, but 13 for the Giants. Gregor Blanco was part of a double switch in the bottom of the 7th. This is his first at bat.
I got a feeling that won't be the last hit. And the next one will be hit number 30. 30.
Wilson gave up a couple of runs, 4 hits. No walks, no strikeouts. You know, Liriano is still in line to win it, went 6, struck out just 2. And this is a team that just does not strike out. They get wood on the ball. San Francisco Giants.
Liriano had come into the game striking out 19 in his last 13 innings. Just 2 tonight.
Fly ball, McCutchen. And I guess that makes it, and you were talking about this earlier, Brian Morris, it makes what he did last night even more impressive. He went 2 innings and struck out 4. Andrew McCutchen, a big part of this offense tonight. Driving in 3. RBI single in the first, a 2-run double in the third off Barry Zito, who went 4 2/3.
So far, you got the perfect homestand working. You're right next to 2 wins. First of all, brilliant pitching, a major league debut, high-profile game last night, and then entertaining for the Pirates tonight, for the Pirates fans tonight, because everybody that comes into the ballparks likes to see the home team get a lot of offense, and they've seen that tonight.
And it's good to see, as Neil Walker has been a big part of it, it's good to see that that they can do it. And we've heard Pirate players and others say it's going to happen. The offense is going to click. No chance to get 2. Ball hit by the speedy Torres. So good crowds first 2 nights of this series. Saturday, expect a nice crowd on hand for the Dodgers game, 4:05. After the game, Fan Jam featuring Blues Traveler performing all their hits, and you can go to pirates.com/concerts and not only get your tickets, but find out how you could watch the show right from the field at PNC Park. Why do you want to give us the runaround, Steve?
Pardon me?
Why do you want to give us the runaround? There's a liner toward right center field. And Presley going to try to cut it off, but not before. Abreu will wind up at second base with a double. His 3rd hit. A night for the offense. With an exclamation point. Shot from the AGH camp.
He goes downstairs like Pence did earlier and went in the same direction, right center field. Well, the Giants did come in with a batting average that was 3rd best as a team in the National League before last night.
And Tony Watson giving up in this inning 3 hits. And it's Buster Posey. A couple weeks ago, Tony Watson turned 28 years old, a 9th round pick 6 years ago by the Pirates. Pirate scout Mike Lesinger signed Tony Watson out of Nebraska. Broken bat pop-up. That could be trouble. It drops in. This will score 2. 11-8. A broken bat pop-up to shallow right. Scores Torres and Abreu.
And it is one of those nights where outs are just very difficult to come by. Nobody can explain it. It's just one of those nights. And it's not over. I mean, another pitch downstairs. Pretty decent looking pitch. just a flare out of everybody's reach.
Broke his bat on it. And out comes Ray Searage as the batter is Hunter Pence.
I hope he's got a tourniquet with him.
And Mark Melanson has just gotten up.
Like you said earlier, these guys have a chance to get their work in now. It's official.
Yeah, I think it's almost the point, Steve, it's happened so quickly that Melanson probably, if he were loose, would pitch to Pence.
Not to say that you can't step off or throw to first base.
Tony La Russa was great at that.
Yep.
But
Tony could buy some time.
The Pirates don't do that much. So it will be.
This is not a good matchup, but the runner's at first base. That's maybe a determining factor.
Tony Watson facing Hunter Pence. Pirates need 4 outs, but their lead is just 3 now.
Well, let's just make it official that he does not represent the tying run. That's a factor right now.
Maybe another broken bat. Pop up the shallow center, and out there is Walker. Outs are hard to come by. Pirates lead 11-8. Later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. What a game. What a change of pace. What we're used to all season long. This is game number 65.
Yeah. There are nail biters that are low scoring games, and then there are nail biters when you've got 31 hits and 19 runs involved.
I thought it was big last night with 20 hits, 12 for Pittsburgh, 10 runs combined. Pirates won 8-2. But trying to get to the finish line. And now looking for 3 outs. And will the Pirates score some more here in the bottom of the 8th inning? 3-hit night for Jordy Mercer.
One thing we know, it is now officially a save situation for the time being.
That means time to turn the stove on. Jason Grilli loosens up. Didn't Grilli have 22 saves through May?
Yes.
He picked up his 23rd last Friday. He really has not had many opportunities. Jim Johnson of the Orioles and Mariano Rivera of the Yankees have tied Grilli with 23 saves for the major league lead. 2-2 on Mercer. McCutchen to follow, and then Gabby Sanchez. Rosario takes care of Jordy Mercer. He has back-to-back Ks, one down, bottom of the 8th. Free Shirt Friday when the Dodgers come to town. Friday night, all fans take home a Pirates t-shirt, just like the one Andrew McCutchen is wearing, courtesy of Allegheny Sports Medicine. And we invite you to come to Federal Street before the game for a Budweiser block party featuring local live music and meet former Pirate third baseman Bill Madlock, Mad Dog, at the Budweiser Bar. For tickets, go to pirates.com/Free Shirt Friday.
Greg, the Pirates are inching themselves back up toward that high water mark of 14 games over 500. This would be back to 13 now. Chance to match that level tomorrow night.
Bucks have won 3 of their last 4 coming into tonight.
It'll be a challenge against Matt Cain, always is.
19,966 tonight. Watching the Pirates collect 16 hits, 11 runs. And McCutchen bounces this one off the glove of Brandon Crawford. McCutchen with his 3rd hit. And he has 5 hits in the first 2 games of this series. And on base 7 times.
Well, it's June. It's Andrew's month. One of his months. It's nice to have multiple months. That ball was not going to be playable, even if it stays in the glove. Playable to first base. Could be no position to throw.
It's the 17th hit for the Pirates. Gabby Sanchez has 2 of them. RBI double in the 6th. Single in the 3rd. I'm thinking that McCutchen might run. Marte has a couple of steals tonight.
I wonder what might be going through Andrew's mind here. Got hit in the butt last night. Is there a little answer here? Even though the game was seemingly out of hand, it's not now. So if he goes, we don't know what the reason might be, other than to get a little more breathing room.
Sandy Rosario recalled today when George Cantos was optioned. Cantos was also handed down a 3-game suspension and fined for intentionally throwing at McCutchen last night, the bottom of the 8th inning. So the Cantos suspension will not be served until he returns to the major leagues. This is Rosario's 3rd appearance with the Giants this season. 2-1. Rosario at AAA Fresno at a 2.78 ERA. 32 innings, 35 strikeouts. He struck out Marte to end the bottom of the 7th and Mercer to start the bottom of the 8th.
And if Rosario is not any quicker over to first base, then Andrew can take a little bit more of a lead. That might be his setup move, but that was not very quick.
There he goes. And it's grounded through that holes, it turns out. Abreu racing to second base. And he went too close to second and could not cut off that ball.
Couldn't put on the brakes quick enough. Andrew takes off. You see the second baseman. It gets by the pitcher, gets by the second baseman. And Andrew comfortably into third base. We're not through. We are not through.
I've heard, I think it was John Wayner talk about covering second on those plays that you don't necessarily have to sprint to the bag, that you kind of shuffle.
Slide.
And if he did that, that's a double play ball. But he sprinted toward the bag and couldn't put on the brakes.
Yeah, your body's out of control.
Yeah. First and third, one out. Pirates look to add on. Ball one on Martin. On base twice. Picked up an RBI with a ground out in the fifth. This is going to score another run. Well, another RBI for Martin as McCutchen scores. A bouncer to Arias. And a 12-8 Pirates lead. There goes the save opportunity.
I would expect to see him come in and get some exercise, as it were. It's one of those things. You look at the respective managers. Wotus tonight for the Giants and Clint Hurdle. At this point, probably both of them thinking, let's get on the other side of this. Let's get it done with and start even tomorrow night. Although there have been comebacks, that's why you keep playing. Nothing guaranteed.
Alvarez doubled in the fifth inning. Charlie Morton, talking about the other side, pitches tomorrow.
He'd like to have 12 runs and 18 hits.
Nissan Road ahead. Charlie Morton makes his 2013 debut, 1 day shy of the 1-year anniversary of his Tommy John surgery.
Look at the ERA for Matt Cain.
Yeah, that's crazy. 9 starts in the minors for Charlie Morton. Clint Hurdle thinks he's in a good place. When asked if this was just a one-shot deal for Morton, Matt Cain pitches against him. Clint Hurdle said, let's take it one game at a time. Alvarez toward left, foul territory. And the catch made by Arias. Bucks pick up another run. Jason Grilli will get some work. Looking for 3 outs.
Accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Jason Grilli will come on. Grilli was a first-round pick of the San Francisco Giants in 1997, the 4th pick overall. The scouting report that year from Russ Bove on Jason Grilli, Bove scout for the Brewers.
Braves.
Yeah. Lean, loose body. You see on the right-hand side, his notes. Reminds of Jim Palmer. Still filling out. Fastball ranges from 90 to 92. Good bore to the fastball. Throws on down plane. Classic mechanics. Plus motion and deception to the changeup. Big time out pitch. Curveball, sharp downer type. Polished pitcher with plus stuff and command. Would not hesitate to take number 13. Well, the Brewers didn't get that chance because the Giants picked Jason Grilli 4th overall in 1997. As we talk a lot tonight about the scouts, amateur scouts, pro scouts, advanced, international scouts. First pitch, 92-mile-per-hour fastball.
Still tough to evaluate the obsession, but you're seeing an example of the obsession right there. Jason Grilli.
The Giants would trade Grilli to the Marlins before the deadline of 1999. That summer, he went along with pitcher Nate Bump in the deal that brought Livan Hernandez to San Francisco. Two and one on Arias. Couple of hits, 3 ribbies tonight. Line to right, Presley going to be there, and one away. Steve talking about the obsession, and that's really a great description for Jason Grilli, because he bounced around a great story at the trade to the Marlins from San Francisco. The White Sox would pick him up off the Marlins AAA roster in a Rule 5 draft. Was released a couple years later by the White Sox. Tigers signed him as a minor league free agent. They sent him to the Colorado Rockies. Texas got him in 1999 in a minor deal. Became a free agent, signed a minor league free agent deal with the Indians. And missed all of 2010 while with the Indians organization, recovering from major right knee surgery. Signed a minor league free agent deal with the Phillies. And when he signs these minor league deals, we talk about scouts, they're all involved, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
There's reports.
Got to be
general
current,
manager,
yeah,
who to
they've
sign.
got to be updated.
Mm-hmm.
That's a perseverance, man. That certainly is an example of not quitting.
The Phillies would let him go 2 years ago so that he could sign with the Pirates. And the rest really is history. I mean, this is historic stuff from what Grilli is doing. Setup man to Joel Hanrahan for a year and a half, and handed the closer's role at the age of 36.
And throwing harder than he ever has.
Yep. Not a save situation, but looking for 2 more outs. The Giants have been retired in order once tonight. Pirates were retired in order twice. And the shift is on. Easy play for Walker. Francisco Liriano set the Giants down 1-2-3 in the 3rd inning. He's in line to win his 5th game in 7 decisions.
And the faithful that have remained on their feet, looking for another Pirate home win. as the Pirates continue to do good work at PNC Park.
Nick Noonan will pinch hit for Rosario. 12-8 Pirates. 93 upstairs.
Pirates would improve their home record to 23-11.
Winning 9 of their last 11 and 13 of their last 16 at home. That record Steve mentioned. Right up there with in terms of winning percentage, the Rangers, Tigers, and Braves. Best home records in baseball. Loving PNC Park. 0-2 on the pinch hitter, Nick Noonan. Noonan. Got him! Praise the Jolly Roger. Again at PNC Park as the Pirates outlast the Giants. You want offense? You got offense tonight.
They got it to the finish pole after giving up 8 runs and 12 hits, but if you score more, you're going to win every time. And they outscored them.
Big night for the Pirates offense as Liriano goes to 5-2. Pirates a season high in hits and runs. Alex Presley got involved late, a pinch hit home run. Neil Walker a home run. At the top of the order, Marte, Mercer, McCutchen, Sanchez combining for 13 of the Pirates hits. The top 4 of the Pirates lineup doing the job. And now let's send it to the studio, Robin T.